The last time on the wilds of Valandiir, the Crown Collectors, finally making their way east to pursue Koza's quest to find his daughter, resulted in traveling north once in the Waning Meadow to the lake town of Cobb. A interesting motif to the town. In lieu of armor and studded leather raiments, these folks seem to value the leather pants and the duster coat. And everyone wears a hat. Once making your way into the town proper, you decided to get your bearings, sit down, have an ale, wash the dust off the back of your throat, and that is when, fatefully, Koza heard the sound of his daughter's voice behind him. Nila had made her way north just as you had, and been settled into the town, more or less waiting for any word from her father, if there ever would be one, and sort of developing a life for her and these 6 children that she had saved from the village in the town of Cobb. Wearing a barmaid's apron, she embraced her father. Tears were shed. Stories were swapped, and the rest of you all kind of enjoyed time in the Copper Nickel Inn itself, with drink and food and rest and relaxation. It wasn't until the next morning, after some of you had gone on a fashion shopping trip and outfitted yourself in some of the local fare, that you reunited the party, with Baranor having assisted Luna in giving birth to pups in the woods that surround Cobb. He had made his way in to town, and Koza and Nila found the party walking the streets in their new digs. That is where we pick up. Koza had unveiled some ominous beckoning for you all to congregate, as he had something to get off of his chest about the night before. That is where we pick up. Take it away.
I was talking to Nila, and I noticed, I don't know if any of you noticed, but she's wearing some sort of collar around her. And I tried to ask her about it, and she seemed kind of reserved.
Nila's going to kind of elbow you in the ribs, like, really... I'm literally right here.
I think something might be going on. I'm not exactly sure what, but...
She's going to kind of tug on your shoulder and kind of go, Dad, it's okay, you don't have to share everything with your friends. And she's going to kind of give you one last hug and pull you in tight. And she's like, I got to make it to the Copper Nickel for the day's work. And she's going to kind of roll up her sleeves. Okay. She's going to turn to all of you, and she looks very much like Koza. She's just much leaner, shorter, much more feminine features, obviously no beard, but she does have this huge mop of tousled, twisted, dreadlocked, braided black hair that just sort of tumbles back and onto her shoulders, and she's got this huge blue streak of her hair that kind of falls across her face, and she just kind of bids you all farewell, gives a little curtsy. It was very nice meeting you all. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Have a wonderful day.
Look forward to it. Bye.
All right, bye. Sweet.
So can we tell she's lying?
Make an insight check.
Yeah, you guys picked up on that, right? That's not me being an overprotective father.
No, I don't think so. Mine is taking forever to load. Hold on. Roleplay.
It's all about the memes. Forget the roleplay. It's just we roleplay through memes here.
Yeah, he does.
Roll 20. I was like, wait a minute, I need to be on roll 20 for this.
Insight check. Oh, very nice. 23.
23. Okay, what are you trying to ascertain she was lying about?
The collar being nothing, and that it's not a big deal, and that if she seemed to be like scared of something, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe.
You can sense dishonesty and you can sense withholding, but you also sense a modicum of fear in her voice and an effort to kind of get away from the conversation. You're not exactly sure what she's being dishonest about particularly. Just a need to cover the truth with some veiled attempt at comfort for you.
Okay. I totally think she's lying, but also that she's terrified of something.
Okay.
Like,
Well, Koza,
do you think-
were
do we
you
think
able
she's
to
being-
find out anything else from her?
I tried asking her questions about it, and the more I dug, the more reserved she got, until eventually she looked visibly uncomfortable, and I decided for her sake I would back off and maybe let it breathe a little.
Should we maybe ask around town? Not exactly.
Maybe I'm not sure how deep it goes, but
Right. Casually ask. I mean,
Yeah.
around
Can
town,
we-
rumors and
Can we
whatnot.
take a couple of moments to recap some of the open threads that we have around here? I mean, we had the newspaper article that we read last session that talked about a bunch of missing folks.
What's this now?
Axton's gonna kind of lift his tip his top hat a little, and he's like, guys, why don't we take this conversation somewhere with a little more discretion if we're gonna be talking about doings in the town? I don't know. We're just standing here on the side of the dusty road.
Okay.
By the way, you all look
Makes sense.
fantastic. Where did you guys get outfitted at?
We'll point him to the store. You should buy a hat.
Yes, everyone has a hat. You need a hat.
You
everyone.
have to have a hat. It's required.
But I like my hood.
It's kind of a weird
hat.
customs thing.
It's a
Help
lot.
me.
Let's just roll with it. Find a
Peer
hood.
pressure.
A hooded hat.
Find a hood with
Hear
a rim.
yourself.
Brimmed hood. Oh no, I'm definitely not absolutely looking that up right now.
A brimmed hood. That's very like rainy day Seattle.
Yeah.
It feels very much like that, yes.
I had a t-shirt, or not a t-shirt, a sleeveless tee once that had a hood. And I never understood the reason for it. Because it was t-shirt material.
Uh-huh. It was thin.
Now, DM,
Yeah.
remind me, where was the place that the fisherman suggested that I go to
As far as
as food bar and such? There was another institution other than Copper Nickel.
he suggested kind of a fisherman's tavern and inn. It's actually you passed it in your travels about the town. It's called the Tattered Dock. You passed it. It's a large kind of barn-shaped building that looks like it's made out of nailed driftwood together. That's been flattened and processed. And there's just strips of canvas that drape across the front of its awning that leads into the front, and you just see a huge sail about maybe 10 by 10 that extends out of the front of the building like a foremast. It just has the tattered dock actually carved into it, like ripped into the sail itself.
Okay. All right, let's hit up that place and let's grab some breakfast and let's have a little chit chat.
All right. No need to roll on. Oh my God. The assless chaps meme is too much.
The Bobby one?
Hang on, I'm not even down there. Hold on.
I know. I'm way far. I'm too busy listening. Yeah. Kind of kicking dust around. Did you guys want to go outfit Baranor and maybe Koza first, or did you want to go straight to the tavern? We don't have to go through the rigmarole at the leather feather like we did last time. If you guys want to just pay your piece and describe your gear, and you can move on from there. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's go get them fitted.
All right.
While we're walking, I want to like ask Nuno as we're walking, as like, do you think your familiar can keep an eye on the copper nickel?
I don't see why not.
Just to, peek in periodically, make sure Nila's okay.
Yeah. What's your familiar's name again? Isn't it like Wiggles or something?
We'll have to find out in a minute. He just typed that
Oh,
in.
there's no wiggles in this campaign.
Okay.
Aww.
Okay. Well, whatever its name, its Fey
Wiggles.
name. Senor Wiggles, yeah. It kind of takes a lazy crow-like, raven-like sweep of the town. Communicating with you on the Copper Nickel. The town's pretty sprawling. It's a little bit bigger than just a two-street, dusty western town. It's a little more than that. So it kind of catches eye of several goings and comings of local folk in this area where the big traffic is, the foot traffic, and what, maybe the markets look like. And right now, your crow can just see, at this time of day, a few people every maybe 60 seconds or so, sort of like two come in, one comes out, and stuff like that. None of them seem to be repeating a loop or anything. It all seems like different people coming in and out.
Like that had the familiar with the little tiny bow.
That was Rish.
Yeah, that was Rish.
Yeah, he had a little, I guess, like a pixie or something like that, with a little bow.
Yeah, I remember that. Did like toothpick damage or something like that.
Yeah, it was one hit point, and
damage.
they could poison. It's actually a pretty neat little feature to have in a fight. You just can constantly give your enemies disadvantage on melee and stuff. So, the tattered sail comes into view, obviously, as sort of sends his familiar into the sky. You sort of, as you move towards this part of town, because it is nearer the lake side, because the whole peninsula is a big horseshoe, or is under a big horseshoe sized lake. You guys are in the north side of that horseshoe, up against the southern shore of that lake in the town of Cobb. So everything around here starts to get a little more nautical and less kind of western. Still with sort of a Tex-Mex motif, but you see anchors on the wall and lots of rope and floaters and things like that. And as you make your way in, you can see that there are two of those darkly clad Wranglers, and they're both at the end of the corner of the bar. They're just sitting there. Both of them got their heads down looking at their whiskey glass. And there's probably, I don't know, maybe 10 people in this, 30-seat bar. Little tables here and there. There's a human with dark, slick black hair and a kind of a mutton chop mustache. And he's just got his little cloth and he's wiping the bar. Looks like he's pulling chairs down off the bar too.
All right. I guess we'll make our way towards the table.
Okay. Axton kind of
a healthy distance, but within good eye shot of those. What, marshals? Is that what they're called?
the Wranglers. Yep, no problem. A corner table is had, and it's not too long until. Oh, I would say that we've since gotten you outfitted. It's going to be 15 gold for both of you for a new outfit.
Got it. Okay.
I have my outfit ready. I'll
Okay.
put it in the, session content.
Oh, go for it.
And Joe has mine, so.
I just finished this like 5 minutes ago.
A wooden blunderbuss.
It blows itself. It's very disposable.
One-time use.
Yeah, that looks great.
Oh my god, he's so cool.
That looks great. Hold on, I got. I'll put bogeys in there if he wants me to.
I like the idea of Koza having a
Yes.
lever action.
It's really cool.
Oh my god. Here we go.
Just had it.
Ooh, I can make it
I,
Like, I
well,
could-
my computer's being very slow right now.
Okay, I'm like, I could go into the chat. And grab it.
Apologies. Oh. Ah, damn it.
E?
Come on. There we go.
Is this the one we talked about, or the Photoshop version?
No, this is the one I just did. I gave up on the Photoshop thing because it wasn't gonna look right.
I
what
know.
I mean?
That's why I gave up on it. I was like,
I wish that on Hero Forge, just bitched about Hero Forge a little bit. I wish you could put any outfit option together with any undershirt or overshirt option. There's Baranor.
yeah. Hey,
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
it's still the best mini designer though I've found. Like Eldritch Foundry is okay, but it's not as good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eldritch Foundry is good for like a secondary option.
Yeah.
If you could color your minis on there, I'd probably use that.
Probably.
Also,
It is
I
pretty
don't-
good.
I've looked back at my files. Somehow Baranor has tanned. Like, it's the same skin tone. He just looks more tan now. I don't know why.
It might be their update. They updated a whole bunch of stuff about the way the colors shade people's faces and stuff.
Right, but I went back to an older version of Baranor where he's lighter skinned and, like, took the whole, like, I want this paint, put it on
Yeah.
something else, and it was the same.
Yeah.
It's just darker now. I don't understand.
It's weird.
But
Not
it
either.
works campaign-wise, I guess.
You mean he was a in-home closeted introvert and then went out in the
No, he
world
was-
and got a tan?
No, he was in the forest, lots of shade and stuff. And now he's been out with the crowd collectors and out in the open suns and open skies.
Yeah, half elf. Maybe he's got a dark-skinned parent.
Yeah, no, you never know.
Never know. So, it's not too long before the barmaid comes over and kind of sets down a bowl of bread and a little bit of fruit and kind of asks around if you'd like to partake in today's catch as breakfast, if there's something else that you wanted, any ales. It's just going to be 4 silvers each.
Sure.
Yep.
We'll get some breakfast ale and, the morning breakfast special. That'll be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Do you happen to have anything stronger than ale?
Oh yeah. She brings out, as she sets down the ales, she walks across the bar and brings a dark brown square bottle and just fills 6 of these they're smaller glasses. You guys have actually never seen these before. 6 of these smaller glasses and pours this dark brown liquid and slides it to each of you. And she's asking for a gold, just 1 gold for the bottle.
I'll pony up there.
Pay the guy. Pay the lady.
I'll pay it.
Okay.
Big spender.
You see Baranor just like heave back one of his immediately.
Would Maven
Yeah.
know
Dude.
that it's alcohol?
I'd say she could smell immediately that it's alcohol. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
She's
or
absolutely
Irish
like,
would-
very strong.
If she's shying away from it, he will grab hers as well.
Okay, all right.
Right,
Give me.
dude.
Talk guy.
Dude, you have a night or something?
I'm not used to not having Luna here, so
Not what?
I'm not used to not having Luna here.
Ah,
She's the only
Oh
family
yeah. Well,
I
I'm
have
assuming
left.
by you
so-
being here that she has like had her family?
She has,
Oh,
and she was kind of wanting some alone time. But
oh,
you
understandable.
know, it's the first time I've been alone without her in 7 years. So, anyways, what am I saving? What am I doing? A saving throw?
Okay.
All right. Well,
Joe, I heard something about a saving throw.
Oh, yeah, make a con save.
Okay.
Half elf, little wafy. Well, actually, I don't know. Do you think D&D elves can take their alcohol? I feel like that's all an even field.
Apparently, Baranor cannot.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel
okay.
like they can tolerate wine, and that's about it.
So, Bogey,
Yes.
for the next hour in game time, not hour, for the next 20 minutes in game time, I want you to talk as Baranor a little slower.
All right.
A little slower.
All right.
Axton's gonna. That's a lot slower. Axton's going to grab his shot, and he's gonna toss one back, and he's gonna pour it, and he's gonna do another one too. He's gonna meet you, Baranor.
all right, guys, let's not get.
He's got like 100 pounds on me at least.
He does. He super does.
Like get schnockered right before the day begins.
Maven looks very deeply concerned.
Private book somewhere.
Get the reels, man.
What is going on?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think it was
like-
what session. It was session 3, I think, that Baranor woke up inside a cart somewhere.
Oh yeah.
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 Probably one
That
of
was
the reasons
drinking-
why
that was drinking with Agir, though.
Trying to
Or not
show a little
Agir. Yeah,
bit
Agir.
different because he woke up on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Axton's
Oh,
reading the
it's fine.
room.
I
Axton's
took a
reading the
run
room,
that
and he
day.
kinda- He kind of sees that everyone's kind of like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So he's going to very quietly and slowly pour a third shot because he doesn't look phased at all. Very slowly as he looks right at Baranor, and he's like, go ahead, I'm listening, as he addresses you all. And then he's just going to hold that third shot right in front of his seat while everybody eventually by now brings you some fish and eggs and ham and things like that, sets it down all in front of you. But he's just going to hold that shot right there.
Well, let's take a few minutes to get Baranor caught up to speed since we got into town, what we found out with regards to newspaper and talking about this reverend person. Don't everybody pipe up at once. All right. Let me explain. Oh, too much for that.
Let me sum up.
Yeah.
Koza, why don't you pipe in? What do you know?
No, you know
Again?
here too.
All right. Yeah. So.
What's on
Hey,
second?
Noah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Were you muted?
I didn't hear. Did you say something before?
Yes.
I said, Koza, why don't you pipe in and tell them what you know?
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Well-
spill it.
I mean, all I know from when I was talking to Nila was that I asked what it was, her collar, and she just said it's part of the uniform, and she tugging at it as if it was like causing her some sort of discomfort. And the more I pressed about it, the more she was kind of fidgeting with it. Sorry. And eventually it just got to a point where, she kind of shut down on me and didn't want to talk. And, I tried to respectfully get as much information as I could, but, I eventually just backed off and sort of just spent some time with her.
So, I'm
But
assuming
it
probably has
definitely
something to do
seems like more than just the...
with work bauble. Think it may have something to do with her forced relocation here?
But I'm thinking it's something that might not entirely be in her control. That it might be connected to something that's key.
Magical, or is it like
it might be magical. I didn't ask or try to check, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Well, maybe Yuno can check that out next time we see her.
Maybe.
Some kind of tracking device or just a visual indicator.
I'm gonna
Like
need.
a scrying thing.
Have we noticed anybody else that has the same kind of collar necklace on?
Yeah, you have.
Okay. Where?
What's that,
Do
Corey?
Do they look kind of similar?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Is it like a quote unquote work uniform, or other people's at the Copper Nickel? Did they have that same kind of collar on?
You noticed that not all of the barmaids had one. You did notice that the bartender had one. And yeah, you guys have sort of been seeing just like a handful of people around town. Nobody in here seems to have one. But, I mean, collars, neckerchiefs, they all seem to be kind of common here. People use them for fashion. This looked a little more like a leather strap with like a brass buckle on it. And not so aesthetically pleasing as much as, just kind of a simple design. And, but yeah, I mean, you didn't really think too much of it, but it's like one of those things that now that you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I have seen a lot of neckwear that isn't like a string of pearls or a silver chain or anything like that. I am going to go ahead and need everybody that's speaking to make a stealth check.
I gotta ask because of my con save. Is Baranor's at disadvantage?
Stealth? Yeah, definitely. I almost am not going to make you roll.
Oh no. Ooh, okay, that's pretty good.
So
Not
it's
bad,
16.
disadvantage.
Yeah. I could even add something to that, but I'm not.
It's as you're kind of like doing that hushed drunk thing, or you're not drunk. Let's be honest, you're not drunk off too, but that thing where you speak and then you like hush real quiet and look around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking around for likeness to this collar around the area. You don't see anybody else wearing them. You see, one, maybe two people sort of mosey on through the flappy doors, and then someone gets up, throws a coin down, and stumbles out. Doesn't seem like anybody is really paying attention to you guys too much, as you pretty much all fit in. This is not a human elf town. There are a plethora of races and kinds of people here. There's gnomes. There's dark, pale skin orcs. There's there's dwarves. I mean, it's just a cacophony. There's an Aarakocra in the room, and you've seen a couple of like twin giant Goliaths sort of like pulling a cart of rocks. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, you guys don't look terribly out of place. There isn't what looks like an adventuring party like you sort of walking the streets or hanging out in the taverns or anything like that. Mostly like one or two people, or maybe three at the most, huddled around a barrel table. Axton is going to raise his glass to his lips and kind of give a quick glance at Baranor and kind of down his shot and slap the glass on the table and clear his throat. Well, Koza, did she give you any indication on, how she came here and what she's been doing all this time what do you know besides her collar is weird?
She came here after what happened at the village, and she told me that the Weave children she brought with her got really sick, and she made a
Who are the weave
deal
children?
with somebody. She didn't.
Who are the weave
They
children?
are.
We want leave children. Who are they?
They are just like the children of the village that I had her bring with her, so that more people could get out. She said she knew a
But
shortcut.
they
when
have
everything
a
was happening.
name. They sound
So these are just
more important.
other children from your village.
Yes.
Hey, Koza, would you like to make a history check?
Sure.
Methinks my player forgot his own lore.
Probably. Ooh, that's pretty good.
Okay, they're not just kids.
Yeah.
Do you remember me telling you about the fact that they are intended for a
Like
position in your
junior-
village?
Junior
No.
mages or something like that. Junior priests or something like that.
Okay. All right. So the Weave children were sort of children that were born. Now, you guys had kids in probably, your village was at the size that probably had maybe 10 or 11 children a year.
Okay.
And over the last 3 years, maybe that's 30, 40 kids. These 6 were shown to have a propensity for magic, and not just magic, but the shamanistic magic of your elders. And it's a ritual, or not a ritual, a tradition to kind of ingratiate these children into the shaman-like sect of your village, to prepare them for leadership, where one day maybe one of them would be chosen. And those are the people that you kind of gathered up and gave to Nila for her escape, and she brought them here with her.
Did you guys catch all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yeah, I had her bring them with her, and eventually she made her way up to here. Some of them started to get really sick, and she told me that she started working at the Copper Cup to help pay for medicine, and I guess it's been a bit of a weird deal.
What do you mean weird deal?
Well, with the collar and everything.
So
Like I said, she didn't tell me a whole lot, but
Huh. Did the kids get better?
I'm not exactly sure. It would behoove me to go ask her
Well,
and check up on them.
You saw them when you saw her at her house. They were laying in their 6 little beds. They were sleeping, and they didn't seem to be coughing or anything.
Okay. You'll have to forgive my lapse in knowledge. It's been a bit of a rough week.
Did the kids have collars on?
They did not.
Okay, cool.
So
Did she say who she
maybe
borrowed
it's
the
some
money from
arrangement.
to?
She
Maybe she's
said
made
she
some-
couldn't. She said she was contractually obligated not to,
Disclose who she got
Yeah.
the money from?
or who
So-
she's working for.
Who knows what kind of arrangement she's made to keep these?
And that's
What
what I'm
What
worried about.
sacrifice she's made to keep these kids safe?
Where did the kids go anyway? I mean, do they just stay in their beds 24/7? I mean, school or something?
They stay in the attic.
Oh, now you're giving me VC Andrews vibes.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
not. Let's not do that.
Yeah, that's not.
I was thinking more of like Holocaust situation.
Oh,
I'm thinking more
okay.
Diary of Anne Frank and not quite flowers in the attic.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
guys,
fine
come
in
on
the attic.
now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody
Not-
but
not-
you had the same thought, Thomas. I think that it's a you problem.
I knew as soon as I heard, I was like, no. I'm
As soon
thinking-
as the words left your lips, you're like, ah, hell.
I'm like, no. And Frank, no, no.
Not VC Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, we're gonna try to figure out who she is working for? Like, how are we gonna go about trying to figure out
Well,
what's
let's
going on?
find out if it's magical first or something.
Maybe we need.
Perhaps if I could get a
find the time to talk to the kids.
Oh, yeah,
maybe
kids
I
are
could take
little.
Huh?
if I could get a good look at the collar, I might be able to, determine something maybe from, some hidden symbols or something. Maybe there's some symbology. Is there any symbology on it, or is it just a collar?
Is it plain? Really, sport you can see is plain.
I'll say that all of you got to look at it because you looked at her, and just with a cursory glance, not really giving it too much thought, you did not notice any obvious symbology on it. It literally just looked like a brown leather strap with a brass buckle. That fitted to her neck. It wasn't loose. It wasn't super tight.
But it was there.
It was just there.
I'm thinking very out of character. I'm thinking very Star of David patch.
Oh, sorry. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the badges they wear?
No.
No, how about the
no.
collar?
The collar
Like
being like a way of identifying.
Oh.
Otheriness.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
but that's
I would
what
say not really.
No. I'm saying that for the group, like.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
Obviously,
interrupting your
we have-
strategy thinking.
Yeah, we have no what is it? Knowledge of Nazi Germany. So, but
What now?
so if it's not magical, it could be some kind of visual marker.
Yeah. Well, we don't know that yet.
Right. So maybe could give it a.
That's why I said, maybe.
Give it a look magically, and then again, maybe make some. I don't know, work your magic Gravish with some offhanded questions around town.
I mean, sure.
It's not magical. We can just pop it off.
Yeah, but what would be the consequences of that?
Well, if there's nothing magical about it, nothing. Other than we'll see what's underneath it.
Did she take it off in the comforter of her own home?
No, she kept it on while she was in her house too.
So that might be
I don't think it's something we can just take off.
right. Either
I
it's
think until
magically.
we have a much better understanding of what's involved with it, I don't think just taking it off is a really good idea. In fact, I think it could be a recipe for disaster.
Joe, you said that we've seen other people with these collars on, correct?
You've seen people with collars, not necessarily the same as the one she was wearing. Some people have sort of like a thicker black band with maybe a simple silvered buckle. Some people have sort of a more dainty one, but with maybe a little bit more of a decorative buckle, things like that.
Is there any pattern to the people?
Yeah, but no similarities as far as class, species, anything like that.
No. There's dwarves wearing them. There's halflings. There's humans. There's
Right.
elves.
But maybe a social likeness about them.
Are they all labor class, nobility, fancy pants folks?
Aha! You do notice that
downtrodden.
none of them seem to be well-to-do. Not necessarily all dirt poor. Like there's we'll say middle working class and below are the ones that you've seen kind of having them, stuff like that.
Okay.
Um,
So the fancy
thought.
pants folks don't wear them.
Well, one thought does come to mind of livestock.
What now? No.
Owners of like horse owners, ranches, stuff like that.
Branding?
Branding, exactly. A way of telling their
They
stock
brand their workers.
Yeah, by making them wear different collars. I don't know. So
That's
just a thought.
That's probably
Dark.
leading.
Uh-huh.
So
Well,
while we're eating our breakfast, now what do we do from here? Before the barkeep starts charging us rent.
I think we should definitely figure out whether or not this collar is magical first. And if so, what kind of magic? And then maybe find out more information on who gave it to her, see if we can figure out, who she's working for really.
I mean, if she's not going to tell you, she's probably not going to tell anybody.
Probably not. Which means we might have to do some digging of other varieties.
Sneaky stuff.
We're looking at how to get her out of this situation. It's not like we can free everyone.
While
who's
we're
in this
chatting,
situation.
I'm taking a look around. What are the anything with the Wranglers? Are they like trying to pipe in on our conversation?
He's overly curious.
Actually, it looks like they're getting drunker.
Hmm.
They definitely kind of moved to a table a little nearer you, not to where, I mean, you guys are kind of like leaning in and talking to each other. You're not like boisterously shouting. And these guys definitely kind of, it looked like they were looking down at their whiskeys, and then at some point, one of you clocked that they grabbed the bottle, both of them sort of sauntered over to a table, sort of almost equidistant away, and both of them have their backs to you, or kind of kitty-cornered. And it looks like they're also tucking into some breakfast. They're eating loudly, I guess. And I mean, if you want to roll insight to really see if you're shrouded from their view, I'll take one from somebody.
Like while they're talking, I'm just gonna kind of get my mandolin out. I'm just gonna pull my chair out away from the table and kind of turn probably about a half, 3/4 away from the group. I'm just gonna start playing.
Okay. I'll say that as they turned around, you guys kind of got a real good look of this 7-sided star on their chest, and I'll put this in the chat just to give you an idea what it looks like. If you guys are kind of clocking symbols and stuff.
People are
Sorry?
talking to the group.
You're
You were cut
Bogey, you're
off.
real
Yeah.
quiet. Is there a way for you to beef up your input?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Trying to talk slower, and it's also the mic isn't liking it.
You don't have to actually droop your head. You can just pretend.
No, I'm not drooping my head at all. It's just like the mic doesn't like that I'm talking slower. It's one of those I don't know. It's very picky. Anyways, I'm asking the group who these people are because Baranor wasn't here the previous night.
They're kind of like quote unquote law enforcement.
Okay, who do they work for?
I would assume the sheriff.
Or no, I think I work for the Reverend.
The
But
Reverend.
I can't say with 100% confidence. But I
Well,
think
you-
that's the Reverend.
You did hear from, you heard from the deer, not Minotaur, the deer centaur who is helping you all buy clothes. That they
That's
are
right.
hired by the Reverend, but they work for the sheriff.
Okay.
Okay, so sheriff and reverend, two different people. Okay. Reverend sounds religious. Maven, do you know anything about a reverend?
Would you have any idea as to what kind of
Actually, Koza would probably have more of an idea, I
Like,
guess. These parts.
preference?
Yeah,
In
I'm
general,
gonna say you've lived your whole life on the complete opposite side of the continent.
Yeah.
You've never heard. Not only have you never heard of who this is, you've never heard the term Reverend.
Koza, have you heard the term Reverend before?
I don't know, do I?
You can go ahead and make a history or religion check. It's gonna be high.
Religion.
Yeah, Maven, your 21 means nothing.
All right.
You're absolutely
no.
certain you have no idea what the fuck that means.
Yeah,
the 21
you're for
was
sure.
for insight.
Oh. On what? What were you trying to
said
determine?
Somebody should roll an insight check about the guys that were.
Oh, I didn't see that. My apologies. You gotta let me know. I'm looking at a lot of screens here. Yeah,
fine.
21. I'll give you that. You're pretty sure that the two Wranglers are occupied and aren't hearing you.
Okay.
22 religion, unfortunately, is not enough. You have vaguely heard of the human term, or excuse me, the human, like the sort of contemporary religious term of reverend. You're not exactly sure what that means, if that's like the highest of the high or just a lowly servant. And you've certainly never heard of this Reverend Thanley. As it was, I think when you guys first walked up to the peninsula of Cobb.
I think we were told he is some sort of religious figure, but is more of like the big mover and shaker in town, if I remember correctly from what we were told.
Yeah. And you learned he owns quite a bit of land in Cobb.
Yeah.
Not much beyond that.
Yeah. All
Does
right.
he own people, though? This is my question.
So I'm thinking we need to do one of three things, a couple of things that are thinking right off the top of my head. One, Koza, we need you to talk to the kids to see what's been going on.
Can do that.
And we need to just get some local scuttlebutt around town about the significance of this whole collar thing. Just sort of the general feel around town. And I think we also need to make an introduction to this reverend to see, maybe look for work. See what that involves.
Maybe not the Reverend. Maybe the sheriff.
We can talk to this. Yeah, we can talk to the sheriff.
Inquire about those missing people
folks
that you were talking about. Yeah.
And if he's too low on the food chain, then they'll just work their way up.
The sheriff is too low on the food chain.
We've seen it before. Folks who look like they're in a seat of power actually having a string pulled by somebody else.
Very true.
It's about this time that you can hear a couple of coins slap down onto a table adjacent to you. And you see this gentleman. Oh, hold on. He's not actually looking at you. Very large canine individual. Kind of downs his ale, slaps a couple coins down. You notice that he is wearing a sort of what are those belts where it's like weaved leather strips material, kind of like a braided almost leather collar around his neck. He's got a little loop on it that has what looks like a key dangling from it. And you look, and on his hip, or on one hip, are two of these pistol projectile weapons on his hip, and on the other one is a long sort of sword on his hip. And you look on his back, and he's got a longer version of these pistols, just a real long barrel and a longer stock strapped to his back, and he just kind of woof, and he just sort of walks away. and kind of moseys out the door. He looks like he gives a wave to the bartender, and he just kind of starts to walk out. He kind of gives you guys like a little side eye, like, you know, acknowledging that you're there, and starts to slowly walk out. And you see him kind of put his hands on his hip, you know, because you can see out the door a little. Hands on his hip, lean a little from back to left, back to front on his heels, and just sort of mosey on away.
I'll motion for the barmaid to come back because I would like a refill on my breakfast ale. And as she comes over, I ask them, "Is like, who is that big fella?"
Oh, Chet? Well, he's kind of a local gun for hire, and actually, a couple weeks ago, he took down the head of some criminal gang that was kind of committing crimes around here in a 1-for-1 shootout. I've also heard that he's I don't know, something of one of those artificers, and I believe he kind of made all those guns that he's got on his hip himself. Been known to sell one to a stray traveler here and there, and yeah, he's got a lot of real interesting stories about his travels and the interesting people that he's met and killed.
Where does he frequent? He sounds like a guy we would like to chat with.
Well, he's here most days, and when he's not here, he's over in his shop. It's not really on the beaten path. It's a little, around a corner here and there, and doesn't really have a sign out front, but...
Is his shop usually open for customers, or does he prefer to keep it private?
Well, he keeps himself pretty much to himself for a reason, but if you want to talk to him, I could maybe facilitate that myself. I mean, I serve him ale every day, serve him his meals, and chat with him every now and then. I could perhaps put together a meeting.
Yeah, I'll give her a silver for that, and I'll say it's like, I would appreciate that. Let him know that Pravish of the Crown Collectors would really like to get to know him and learn about this place from him.
What was that? I think you leaned away.
Pravish from the Crown Collectors, who have just arrived in town, would like to make an introduction.
She kind of holds the silver in her hand and kind of looks at you, and she kind of flips it in her hand a little. It kind of twirls it around her fingers, and she's like, "Well, I could certainly put something like that together. He is a bit of a secretive fella." And she just kind of like shows her that silver in her hand, and she almost looks at it like it's lonely.
All right, I will. I'm like, I guess everybody needs friends, so I'll give her 2 more.
Okay. She kind of clips them together in her hand and rubs them together, sort of real nonchalantly slips them in her cleavage. And she's like, "Well, Chet's been awful lonely lately. I'm sure he could use with some friends. I'll see what I can do, sugar."
Appreciate it. All right.
Okay.
All right, so we got that taken care of.
Baranor's supposed to be the dagger person, maybe.
Huh? What now?
I said Baranor is supposed to be the dagger person, Maven.
Yeah, just shooting daggers out of her eyes.
Yeah.
Who's gonna take it?
Oh, Steph got to hear the adventures of Karish before Maven joined the party.
It was good stuff.
Yep. So, if it's okay, I think for today, I'm going to want to hang out here for a little while just to try to get some of the local scuttlebutt out.
Okay.
I mean,
That is your area of expertise, pretty much.
yeah. So, I'm just going to ask the barkeep that, if it's okay, if I could just, hang out here and just play, and I'll just, only for tips.
Make a persuasion check.
Area in here. Oh.
Is there a musician? Yeah, there's a stage. There's actually somebody up on the stage right now. It looks like kind of a 17. Yeah, we'll get to that. He's there's someone that's looks like it's up in a wooden rocker chair. It's like a halfling, but with very, very dark blue skin, and wearing sort of a red and white, bold striped, horizontal striped short sleeve shirt. That's sort of tattered on frayed on the edges. He's got a pair of canvas pants that are cinched with a brown rope. Real long, real baggy, real tattered at the bottoms, barefoot. And he's actually plucking on an instrument that, Kurvish, you've actually never seen, but you get how it works. It's got a flat silver bottom, drum-like body, and a long stringed neck. It's a banjo, although you've never seen this before. And he's just plucking away at it with this real low, kind of easy listening, lo-fi sort of studying music vibe.
Chill.
Yeah, real chill. He's got what looks like a white cupped hat on his head that's kind of crooked a little, and he's just sort of like leaning real low back on the chair and kind of rocking himself with one of his feet real slow. He doesn't even have a cup. He doesn't have a cup or a hat. He's just playing.
Okay.
Not quite playing spoons, but kind of the same vibe, yeah. I don't know if you younger people have seen Deliverance, but definitely the little boy up on the bridge plucking away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, I'll ask the barkeep if I can just hang out here for a while and just play my mandolin and, get my way around town so I can find some honest work.
Yeah, he doesn't mind at all. He's gestures to the stage. It looks like there's a couple of stools on the floor near the stage that you can kind of pull up. Mm-hmm. As you approach this little dark blue halfling, just kind of looks up at you and looks way up at you.
Yeah.
And he kind of stops for a moment and he's like, tall drink of water you are.
Indeed. You're a little half pint of water.
He doesn't really know how to take that. And he just kind of looks around the room and looks at you and you do what?
I love the phrase. I was like, "You're a shot of whiskey."
Yeah, he's got in his mouth what looks like some kind of a brass fishing hook that sort of juts out of his mouth like he's chewing on it, and he just kind of takes it and sticks it on his finger, and it looks like it wraps around his finger just enough to where he kind of uses it and twangs one of his strings, and he's like, "What are you playing with there?"
This is called a mandolin. Looks like it's pretty similar, except that, I can either use my fingers, or if my claws won't work out too well, I can just use a pick. I tend to prefer my fingers, though.
He just kind of looks at your clothing, brand new. He watches you kind of strum your guitar, your mandolin, and he just sort of looks and he's like, "You new to these parts now?"
Indeed, my companions are new to town.
I couldn't have guessed.
Really?
And he gives you a quick did-a-down-down.
And I'll match with his chord. Do-do-do-do-do.
All right. He's gonna, let's see here. Let me make a roll. Dice. Ooh. He plucks his little banjo, and as you match him, he immediately gets aggressive. And he's like, digga digga down down down, and he just sort of looks at you with this, like, his eyes wide open and his lips pursed, like,
All right, I'll match his intensity.
All right, give me a performance check. $14. What are the rest of you doing as this is unfolding?
Can we tell that it's going to be a real, battle of the stringed instruments?
Barn burner.
There we go.
Well, we'll say this. Okay,
It'd be dueling banjos.
imagine like a blue Elmo, like sitting in a chair across from a big bird with silver feathers. Okay, and both of them have stringed instruments, and the little Elmo just got real stiff and upright and like plucked the crap out of his banjo. That's what it looks like. And Kravish is just he's sat up a little straighter and like kind of gave a oh shit kind of a glance back at you all. And yeah, it's getting a little real up there.
Okay.
All right.
Watch with absolute, like, enthrallment. Is that a word I want to use? I don't know. I need more coffee.
All right, so Maven has turned in her chair. Axton is going to kind of keep looking at Baranor and look at the stage, then look at Baranor, and you see him start to pour another shot into his glass, and he kind of leans over the table to Baranor and sort of holds the neck of the bottle over yours.
And I'm not trying to outdrink you here. Just not in a good mood.
He just kind of leans in and pours your drink, and he says, I get it. Sometimes it's nice to, I don't know, douse your worries away.
Fair enough. I'll throw back the third shot.
All right. You don't need to roll a con check. It's been a little while, and 3 shots in an hour is not that bad. But this one definitely goes down. This one definitely goes down a little easier.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll say over the next maybe hour of Kravish and this little halfling kind of going back and forth, it gets a little intense, and then it starts to slow down, and it becomes much more melodic and with an accompaniment, and you guys sort of find a sort of familiar territory with developing some kind of ongoing, evolving melody. And I'll say if everybody in the party wants to give me a perception check, minus Kravish.
Oh, am I still at disadvantage?
Not for
Well,
perception,
that's
no. No. But
Well-
I'll take that 12.
I rolled a nat 1 and a nat 20. How did that work?
Okay, everyone's pretty much on point here. I'm gonna have Axton
one is-
roll.
Auto fail on that one?
Yeah, that's a fail for sure. Yeah, I'll say that you're very well occupied right now mentally. Why don't you? I would also like from you, since you failed this perception check, you're not going to notice anything in the room. I will, however, draw an animal handling check from you now.
From me?
Yep, from you.
Okay. Disadvantage or flat roll?
We'll do that as just a flat roll.
Okay. Not sure why I'm doing it, but I'm sure you'll tell me. Okay.
All right, the link is strong.
Okay.
You, as you kind of sort of recoil from the. Wow, we just had huge thunder out here. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
It's been going on for the past like 10 minutes.
Yeah, as you're sort of reeling from that third shot of this brown liquor, your mind. You kind of look down at that glass, and sort of like you find your vision sort of orbiting the glass on the wooden table, and you can feel your mind sort of drift until like you close your eyes in your mind's eye, and you feel a large wispy gossamer tendril of your own consciousness sort of drifting throughout the ether until it snags on something and catches. And your mind connects back with another tendril of consciousness that was out there, sort of outstretched. And you find yourself linked back up with Luna. You feel a sense of sereneness, of a little bit of uncomfortableness, but definitely waning. And you find it replaced with a natural sense of contentment and togetherness, and you can't make out images, but you do feel presences. You feel Luna, and through her, you feel a splintered, kind of tiny little rubber band-like wisp connected to 3 little entities.
3?
Yes, 3.
That's the exact number I was thinking of, too.
It's strange. You've never felt such a faint, like, thread of consciousness before. You and Luna, since she was born, since you and her developed this connection, have had a very strong rope-like bond within this, like, ethereal gossamer. But it's very strange to feel this very faint offshoot of that, split in 3, and you can almost feel a very primitive version of Luna's consciousness through them. No emotions per se, but just tugging needs. You feel thirst. You feel cold or warmth. You feel hunger, but not really understanding what that means, and that frustrates you through this link. And occasionally, every few minutes, you feel that link with these little entities. There, you feel like a panic, an emergency, threatening feeling that is very quickly, as Luna's kind of consciousness reunites with these 3. You feel all of that panic slip away, and feeling of warmth and acceptance and love. And that kind of, you get the feeling like maybe Luna left the nest for a moment.
Okay.
It's just very surreal to experience sort of an orbiting feeling of this motherly kind of nurturing emotion that you're getting from them as you are about 10, 15, 20 miles away. It's kind of neat, and it does make you feel a little more comfort.
And obviously distracted, so.
Yeah, Maven and Koza.
Everyone else dodging, bullets.
Yeah, just like guns going off above your head.
And he's just sitting there, just kind of reminiscing.
Yeah. No, fortunately, no violence of any kind. But you do see Maven and Koza as you guys are kind of scanning the crowd and finishing your meal, and Maven, you do find yourself also a little distracted as every now and then you settle your gaze on Kravish and him and kind of ingratiating himself with this local. But you do kind of clock that those Wranglers have stood to their feet in the, in the hour that you've been sitting here. They have since stood to their feet. One of them gives a little belch. Another one kind of adjusts his belt, and you see that he's got a shiny silver pistol on his hip in a holster. And he also has what look like three little throwing knives that are also attached to his belt. And you see him kind of toss a couple coins onto the table, and both of them sort of like, they grab one more shot of this whiskey and sort of stumble out, but in a way that it looks like they're able to maintain, maybe hold their liquor, but they're definitely having a morning buzz, so to speak. Is there anything anybody at the table is particularly looking for, as you all got real good perception except for Koza? No, Koza didn't do too good either.
Check to see if they're wearing collars too.
Oh, that's a good note. Is anybody wearing any collars?
Are you talking about the Wranglers?
Yeah. Or anybody else?
You got a 16. You didn't notice that they had any, although it looks like their dusters kind of have almost like a, I don't know, 3 or 4 inch tall, like Dracula collar, like not spiked or anything, but just like a high backed collar that sort of covers from, one jaw to the other jaw all the way around their neck. And you didn't really see anything like that on them. Yeah. I'd say Axton didn't either. He got a really good perception check. Did pretty good too. It looks like somebody that came in. It looks like it was a full-blooded tiefling, red skin, glowing red eyes, black hair, black lips, black eyebrows, slicked back, 2 tall, devilish horns that sort of extend into the air, about a foot. He's kind of got cloven hooved legs and just real simple canvas shirt with sort of like striped pants, and he's got like a long devilish tail behind him. And he brings in this crate and sort of drops it off, and he kind of nods at the bartender. Bartender kind of grabs it, gives him a nod, and slides over a roll of paper. And it looks like the bartender also gives him a stack of silver coins. And he sort of unfurls the scroll, reads it to himself, crumples it up, sticks it in his pocket, and he pockets the coins. And as he leaves, you notice that around his neck is also one of these very simple leather collars. And he just sort of thanks the barkeep, and he exits the tavern. You don't really see anybody else wearing a collar in here. So to recap, it looks like the dog-looking humanoid that left, which is strapped with guns all over his hips and on his back, he left. He's got one, and this devilish-looking character's got one too. Yeah, I will say that Kravish and everyone who is like full Imperial, like to a lesser extent Maven, you all know that Tieflings are just not seen in the Empire. And any that you do encounter, they usually file their horns and wear a bandana or something like that to hide themselves. But this one just being out in the open like that, you're not really quite sure what to make of it, but this is not Imperial territory.
Okay. I'm plunking a happy tune, fellas, so
Yeah.
Just has a whimsical look upon his face.
You know what, Kravish, you're not just plucking a tune.
yeah,
I'm gonna include you in all this too. So you can go ahead and make a a perception check. Just do it at disadvantage because you're
disadvantage.
Yeah, you're listening, but you're also trying to keep up with this halfling who's energy has not waned. He is intent on either keeping up with you or outdoing you.
Dueling banjos.
Yep.
You know what the stipulation is for it to be dueling banjos, right?
What's that?
Only one of them is a banjo. The other is a guitar.
The other is an acoustical guitar.
Mhm.
13.
Perception check 13. Okay. Yeah, you don't really see anything out of the ordinary or weird or suspicious. You definitely watched those two Wranglers get up and leave. Like, you watched them leave. It doesn't look like they looked at the group on their way out. But you didn't really notice anything else about what they were doing. They just kind of, they definitely looked not drunk, but a little buzzed, a little bit tipsy. And gets to be about, we're in the afternoon hours here, and it looks like the lunch crowd has arrived. There's maybe 10 or 15 people in here that weren't in here a minute ago. The halfling starts to kind of pack up his banjo and kind of gives Kravish a nod, and he's like, "Well, you plucked them strings pretty well there, fella."
You did as well. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And he's like, "Chris Top at your service," and he kind of lifts up his little sailor's hat and plunks it back down on his head. Chris Top, T-O-P-P.
Okay. Chris, Kravish right here.
A pleasure, sir. Will we be seeing you around town hereafter?
Yeah, looking to get settled in, try to find some work around here.
You're looking for work?
Yeah, I got a group of friends here. We do a variety of different types of jobs.
Well, have you ever tried your hand at sailing before?
Sailing. Oh, it's probably one of the multitude of life's experiences that
Well, Captain Farkas is always looking for a deckhand on his airship traveling across the continent on his deliveries. If ever you're interested, I can put in a good word for you.
airship. Cool. All right.
Yeah, Cobb is but one of many stops that the Kestrel makes on its journeys about Valandiir, and Captain Farkas is going to be staying here for the next week or so, establishing trade routes and negotiating delivery contracts, things like that. And when we're ready to leave, if you'd perhaps like a ride, we'd only be too happy to. And he kind of looks at your table. He's like, accommodate you and your friends? I don't know. Are y'all in the business of work?
Yes. Every last one of us.
He kind of takes what looks like a small wooden anchor that looks like it's kind of tied by a very thin twine. He kind of pulls it off, and he's like, well, just, here, take this and present this to the main dockmaster, and when we're ready to leave, perhaps we'll give you a look-see.
Okay. Well, thanks. Much obliged.
My pleasure. And he's going to kind of hop down off the stage, and he looks like he's going to walk up to the bar, grab a biscuit, throw a coin down, and downs a whole tankard of ale real fast, and starts munching on his muffin as he walks out the back of the tavern. Looks like there's a back way out that sort of butts up against the lake.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll probably play for about another hour over here, just trying to, listen in on things, and then I'll probably try to, grab some lunch and skidoo.
Okay, another hour? Okay, why don't you give me another perception check? You can do this one. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to be here a minute. I'm going to, grant you another perception check. This time you're just sort of playing your own stuff, so you're not really distracted, so you can just roll it straight. And you roll high enough, I'll give you some snippets of conversations in the place. What are the rest of you wanting to be doing for the next hour? Are you going to stay put? Are you going to go out in town? Make your way across? Is there anything you guys want to do or pursue or what? Why don't we, to motivate you, we'll start down the list. Let's say with Baranor. What is Baranor doing in this next hour and a half?
I had no idea. I think Baranor just wants to get a lay of the town.
Okay.
Kind of wander aimlessly, but with a purpose. Kind of keeping an ear out for any kind of conversations he might grab. He's going to look around for any thieves' cant. Might
okay.
Be hidden amongst the structures and whatnot. See if there's any guild business going on around or anything like that you can latch on to. Maybe who knows? Maybe spot a local who looks more well-to-do than others and grab some coin.
Okay. Well, let's start at the beginning and say that you can give me a perception check for any errant conversations as you wander about. I'm also going to need a stealth check, just not to try to hide from anyone, but to do what you're doing nonchalantly, let's say.
Sure.
And now, this shouldn't be too hard. There you go. I was going to say, it shouldn't be too hard for a member of the guild the syndicate to kind of weave in and out of foot traffic, which at this moment, the lunch hour, there is a bit of a hustle and bustle, and you decide to take your business to the main thoroughfare. It sort of divides Cobb in half at the north end, north to south of the city. And just sort of, kind of keep your new hat low on your brow and keep your head down while you listen. Perception of 22 is good. So I'm going to give you how high you want to go. It will depend on what you hear. 22 is good.
23?
23 is better. It all spends. So, all right, I don't know if you want to write this down or what, but I'm going to give you little conversations that you hear.
Oh, okay. Let me grab a pencil real quick.
Everyone should have the ability to take notes, not just Corey.
I know. I was ill prepared.
That's okay. You hear about an accident at the mine.
Okay.
That 3 were killed. It's going to be a large hassle on the incoming timber.
At the mine?
Yep. You hear that. What'd you say?
I'm confused about the mine and the timber, but okay.
That's what you hear.
All right.
You hear that Race is going to raise hell.
Race. Okay.
Yep. And the 2 guys that we were listening to are not expecting payment anytime soon in this case.
Okay.
And they're considering quitting. You also hear someone talking about a dip in the fishing from last week, and that the yields are less, and not exactly sure why. They're going to have to kind of go out a couple more times and maybe take some test fishings and test catches and see if there's something going on in the stock. You hear a old married couple bickering that the husband is getting a little too old to do the bending over gardening, and that the wife is upset because it's the best part about their property in this dusty piece of shit town.
Somebody's having trouble with gardening.
And then just various little snippets here and there of someone, you hear that there's a breakfast tavern opening up on the south side of town next week. They're excited about that. You hear something about a mother who lost her daughter in the dark of night when she was kind of coming in from the South Peninsula. Her daughter was lost, jumped off the wagon, and was never seen again. That's just kind of like gossip between two people. That's pretty much all you get. As far as go ahead.
Does that sound anything like the news article that the rest of the Crown Collectors probably filled him in on about missing children?
I don't think it was missing children. I think it was missing people.
Just missing people. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
and
the sound anything.
Only that there's a missing person because everybody in that article was there. They're in their bed the night before, or wandered off into the night and then was never heard from again. Not a whole lot of people reporting that their loved ones ran away or anything like that. So in that case, this is a bit of a unique story.
Okay, gotcha.
Just slightly. As far as finding a well-to-do individual, that is not hard. You kind of wander around, and all your clothes are new, so you kind of blend in sort of in this part of town a little bit. At least you're good at blending in with it. Everybody walking around on the east side of Cobb, where there's a jeweler over there's a blacksmith, there's kind of it's almost the commercial sector of the town. You do find this very short, plump dwarf woman with a very kind of wide barrel-like torso, a very wide opening dress, kind of a yellow and gold striped. She's got her hair curled and pulled back in sort of a tight bun with strands hanging down behind her head. She has very heavy blue eyeshadow makeup, very, very red lips, and almost a hint of powder on the face with what looks like a little penciled in mole on her cheek. And she's sort of like trotting along, her eyes closed, her hands out in front of her with this little purse, and you see on her hip are a couple of little leather pouches. So, give me a sleight of hand check.
Definitely going to psychic act this no matter what my result is. That's how high I can get.
Ooh, boy.
29.
29. You kind of sidle up next to her as she passes a sort of a large group of traveling pedestrians that's sort of coming and going down the thoroughfare. You sort of get in between, and you choose your moment when she kind of scoots in between a dense group of people to sort of get through. And she looks like she's kind of doing a brisk trot. For a dwarf, she's kind of quick. And you kind of get in there in the right time, and you slip your hand right on the side of her belt, and with just your middle finger and your thumb, you pull a string, you loop your hand around, you pull the knot free, and the little pouch drops silently into your palm, and you immediately tuck it under your arm, and as you turn the corner, you kind of you have it now in the folds of your duster. It feels heavy. It doesn't feel like making the chink chink sound of coin, but it does feel rather heavy.
Very interesting. Okay. Do I see anything of the thieves' cant?
You do not see any syndicate presence here. Okay. You also don't. You also. Oh, you mean any thieves' cant? I see. You do find.
Any thieves' cant.
Yeah, you know what? You do with that high of a perception. I'm going to have you roll investigation to really discern what they are, but you do see at the back of, on the bottom of some of the posts on these porches, there are little carvings that you actually don't know what they mean, but you do know, you can at least distinguish that there is a commonality between not necessarily the Syndicate Thieves Camp, but just like, basic English, I guess you could say, of Thieves Camp that sort of is shared throughout many different dialects. That this place is a place that contains valuables. This place is of sanctuary, and you do find that kind of value, the treasure glyph carved into the post of a jewelry store.
Okay. It's a 17 investigation.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a treasure chest on a jewelry store. Okay.
Yep. Which is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I would think.
I would think so too. Do I see anything that indicates like a guild headquarters symbology?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
You don't see Thieves Camp carved on the backs of any storefront awnings where they normally would be if it was a headquarters. But this is you just kind of moseying about the place, not really taking the time to like actively climb up and search all the signs. That would probably look weird.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
All right.
I think that's everything.
What is Koza doing?
Koza is probably going to try to investigate Nila's house to see if he can talk to the Weave children at all.
Okay. So as you both left this morning to meet with the group, the door is locked, as she locked it as you left.
Figured.
Yeah. I'll say that, you can look through the window and see that the children have risen and they are reading, what look like very simple books. That at this point, the Weave children, because you know who they are, they're about like 9, 10 equivalent Furbolg years, 9, 10 years old. And they, one of them's holding a book upside down. The other one's looking at a book with a lot of pictures, and you see one of the children, and they're tiny little plump furbolgs in like kind of basic, nightgowns, cinched with a rope. They all have kind of long black hair. Their little cow ears sort of dangle down, and one of them is actually her house is actually right on the shore on the northwest side of town. It's kind of like built on the beach and extends out into the water, and you see one of the Furbolg Weave children just kind of dipping a fly rod string into the water and trying to fish. That's all you can see through the window.
Knock on the window.
Yeah, I think I'll knock on the window. I was going to knock on the door.
I'm going to start charging you for that meta pigeoning. Yeah, you tap on the window, and two of them kind of turn their head, and they just kind of come to the window, and they look at you as if, do I know you? You look familiar. You're definitely a Furbolg, and you see one of them kind of click-clack the lock from inside and swing the door and peek her head out. You don't know this one's name. You do recognize, Tevin inside. You recognize Charlie, and you recognize Lihor on the fishing rod. There's 3 of them that you don't actually know personally. This one is Tevin.
Hey, Tevin, how are you doing? How's life been?
And you see him kind of like look at you up and down like, can I help you?
Actually, you can. Nila's been taking good care of you, right?
And you see him kind of look and back up a little bit, and he's like, Nila says we ain't supposed to speak to strangers.
Oh, I'm not a stranger. I'm actually her father.
And you see his eyes go wide and look at you. I'm going to have him. He is suspicious swords. Okay. He's just gonna say, sorry, mister, but, I don't know who you are, and I'm not supposed to open the door to strangers. Clam! And sort of clacks the door shut. Bam.
Smooth move, X-Lax.
You wait a beat. You wait another beat. Can you what?
And I knock on the door again, and I'm gonna pull out my symbol of the Moonweaver.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make persuasion check.
Okay. Here we go.
Persuasion 15, not bad. You wait a moment. You wait another moment. You get the feeling like they're ignoring you, and then the door opens again. And this time it's Lahore, the sort of the older of the bunch, like the big sister, and she's got her hair is parted in the middle with these thick black braids that sort of lay over her shoulders on her torso, and she's a bit taller than Tevin, and she just kind of leans her head out enough to say, "What do you want, mister?"
Lahore, it's me from Luna Garden. It's Koza.
Koza. You're Nila's dad, ain't you?
That's right.
I remember you.
Questions.
Yeah, she says, I remember you, and she kind of leaps out of the doorway and just sort of like her arms are like out, like spread eagle as she tries to hug your massive frame.
I will
and just
kind of little pat on her back.
Nila said something about this morning that maybe that she was talking to somebody she knew, but I didn't know it was someone from the village.
I've been looking for you guys for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the village, man. I mean, I tell you what, it's been quite a time. You wanna, I don't know, come in or have some tea or something?
As lovely as that would be, I just have some quick questions.
Okay, why don't you come in and have some tea and ask your questions?
Sure.
She shuts the door behind you.
Okay.
You're back in her house.
So, when you guys got here, how long was it before Nila was working at the tavern?
Oh, not real sure. We took ill, I think, when we first came here. My memory's a little fuzzy from that time. I know that she was working at the Copper Nickel, when my fever broke and kind of woke up. She was patting our heads with wet, damp cloths, and she was working from that day forward, has been since for last few months. I don't actually have a lot of memory from coming to Cobb. We all of us children, we caught the sick, you see. Bad cough, horrible fever, boils on our feet. Terrible time.
Well, I'm glad Nila was able to make you all feel better.
Oh, it wasn't Nila that healed us.
Oh?
No? It was Mrs. Wender.
Who's Mrs. Wender?
No, she's the, I don't know what you'd call her, nurse or doctor, medicine, sure. They call her a doctor here, but she brought tinctures of some kind of medicine, and well, after she came by, we started feeling a little bit better after a few days, and she came back another time to check up on us. She's a pretty nice lady.
What does Miss Winder look like?
Oh, she's a kind of one of those high elves. She's got sort of long, pointy ears and pale skin, dark brown eyes, and sort of a sandy blonde hair to her shoulder, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't know how old she is. You know how it is with elves, I suppose. We've seen quite a few here in our time, but yeah, I mean, she seems to be one of the healers of this place, and she hasn't come by since, though. But then again, we've been feeling better, you know?
You don't suppose you would know who Nila was working for, would you?
She works for the Copper Nickel, of course.
That was a bit of a stretch. Alright.
I mean, I know that her boss is Ririk, the big burly guy that works behind the bar. I mean, she does what he says, and you know, at the end of the day, she gets a few coins for payment, and that's kind of it.
Okay. Has she ever told you anything about that collar she wears?
Not much. Just says she has to wear it for work.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you all are feeling better.
Yeah, and you see one of the Furbolg children. He's kind of a little boy. He looks like he's maybe the youngest. He's got real pudgy cheeks, kind of fat, and he kind of like bumps into your rump as he's running around the place. And you hear you hear Tevin. Danion, come on now. We're about ready to go to school, and you're just in your pajamas. It's time to get ready. And she just Tevin, who you spoke to earlier, just chases this little Firbolg around the room.
You guys are going to school?
Oh yeah, we go twice a week, and learn about the seasons and learn about the town of Cobb and the world beyond, and sometimes they try to teach us numbers and our letters, although it's not really in a language that we really understand, but you know, it's at least something to do during the day.
Well, that's good. You're at least going to school. Alright, well, I have no more questions. It was lovely to see all of you, but I should be on my way.
Are you going to be staying with us?
Oh yeah, we will see each other around town.
Okay, well, it was good to see you, and I'm sure Nila's happy that you're hanging around. She was definitely missing you a lot in the beginning of our time here.
Trust me, I was missing her too. And all of you.
And at this point, they're all six of them are kind of like sitting on their butts, you know, crisscross applesauce, just sort of listening to you and Lihor talk. And they kind of like giggle to each other, and they start to get up, and it looks like they're kind of like putting on these leather strap sacks that contain, looks like a couple of books, maybe.
Alright, well, I'll get out of your hair.
You want to walk us to the school? Usually Nila does it, but looks like she might be having to work on her lunch break.
Sure.
Okay, here, take my hand.
I will take her hand.
Working on her lunch break.
You take her hand. Lihor takes Tevin's hand. Tevin takes Danion's hand, and all of them in hand as you walk out of her house. You see her pull what looks like Lihor pulls a little key out of a side pocket on her little dress, locks the door, puts it back in. All right, let's go. And hand in hand, this little line with, I would say, 3 little Firbolgs with big tall Koza in the middle, and then 3 little Firbolgs behind him just walk hand in hand down the street. Oh my god, that is adorable. Oh
I had to
my
post
god.
this the moment I saw it.
Oh my god. It's a little
Oh
monkey
my
with a
goodness.
backpack. Walking
Literally,
to school.
I typed in GIF going to school, and that's what that was like the second thing.
That's adorable.
It's a little monkey with a backpack and a little lunchbox, and he doesn't look taller than a foot.
That is so cute. I will kind of try to flag down Lehor's attention.
Mm-hmm.
You said something about them teaching you in a school or in a language that you don't quite understand. Could you explain that a little more?
Well, I should say this whole time she's been speaking to you in Giant.
Right.
Like sort of, your tribe's version of Giant.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to switch over to Common. And she's going to say, they teach us Common here. We not know much
Good.
when first we live, but now we know lots.
I will say back to her in Giant, is that the language that you were talking about?
Oh, yeah. And
Okay.
you would know that being that your village was a little isolated, that the children are taught the language of their people, and those of you who travel in the village, you know Common, but it's not something that's super widely taught in the village. You know it because you were one to sort of travel the land, and Nila knows it because she kind of visited other villages and stuff. The older people in the village seem to learn it, but the children sort of start out with Giant.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll just keep walking with them then.
All right. Well, as you sort of disappear into the crowd of the main thoroughfare, we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we'll get to what Steph was doing, what Yuno was doing.
What was that kid's name? Just curious.
Which kid?
The one he was just talking to.
Lehor.
Lehor.
Okay. That one was written down before you said it out loud, right?
What's that? Are you
That was a
making
furball.
fun of one of my names, Baranor?
I am. Lehor.
What of it?
Steph gets
Listen, not all the on the fly names can be winners.
it. I know.
That was not on that was not an on the fly name. Yeah, Pervon Sewell is not one of my names, okay? I'm not stealing
I
that
know,
one from Matt.
But Lehor.
It's Lehor. Are you making
Still-
fun of are you making fun of a young Firbolg girl's name? Is that what I'm
No,
getting from this?
I'm trying.
It sounds
No,
like
I'm
what you're
gonna
doing.
make fun-
Oh Lord.
Wow,
I'm making
wow.
fun of-
That's
I'm
no,
making-
I see how it is.
Wrong, guys. Peace to
What-
unity.
Children.
For real though.
For real. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back in 15. We'll meet back here at 4:15 Eastern Standard Time. All right?
all right.
Alrighty.
All right. See you in a bit. Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? So, Maven, in this afternoon, while Kravish continues his serenade of the Tattered Dock audience, what is Maven doing during this time?
Okay, so what Maven wants to do is she wants to go and try to find if there's a church, you know what I mean, around that the Reverend would be pastor of, and see if there's something going on today, maybe not necessarily a service per se, but some kind of gathering, or just try to get as much information about the guy as she can.
Well, it's not too hard to find the temple or the church. It's in the middle of town. The whole town of Cobb kind of at the edges towards the middle kind of rise, not a steep, sharp hill. It's not like Whitestone from Critical Role where the whole town surrounds this mountain. It's a very slight uphill kind of a thing. But at the top of this small hill, you do see a large white painted wooden steepled temple. And as all of you sort of, I think it was maybe that sent his crow all the way around. The crow noticed this church, and at the very top of that church is a symbol that at first you guys when you were farther away, you didn't really make out. But as you approach this building, you see it as the same symbol that the Wranglers wear on their chest. It's this kind of, it's almost like an upside down 7-pointed star. You do not see anybody with, religious iconography on the outside of the temple. It sort of exists despite the town, kind of a thing.
Okay.
You do see, however, a couple of Wranglers just sort of moseying their way on either side of you, maybe 30 feet away. It looks like they both have like wide-brimmed flat hats, black dusters, black gloves, black pants and boots, and they just kind of got their hands on their belt buckle, just real lazily strolling the streets, their heads down, looking to the left, then looking to the right, just kind of keeping an eye as they patrol and kind of get closer to you on either side as you stand before this great church.
Okay. Is it locked?
You go up to the door. It is not locked.
Yeah.
No, there's two large white double doors. They swing open, and inside the church, you see, there's a kind of a narthex or a vestibule, if you will, that has on mostly dark mahogany walls. There's a red carpet on the floor. Very different aesthetic than you're used to from the temples that you visited and your monastery. It's a lot of wood paneling, and the torch sconces look like they're made of pretty decent twisted wrought iron. And it's very warm in here. It looks like there's a roaring hearth at one section of this narthex. And there's the iconography of that symbol up on the steeple. You do see dangling steel stars that look like they swing from very simple brackets on the ceiling. A couple of shelves of books. Candles on the desks and tables. And as you move further into the sanctuary, you do find pews. It's not as big of a church as, say, the Temple of Pelor and Dane. It's a little more demure, although the ceiling is very, very high vaulted ceiling with sort of rafters and pigeons that sort of dart in and out of the wanes there. And you see maybe a handful of people in the pews reading or praying, and you see kind of an elaborate, well-lit, stained glass window-backed podium and altar. Very minimalist. There's just what looks like a platform to put a book so you can read from it. There's a silver dish to the right of the podium, and there's what looks like a very elaborate candelabra with extinguished candles. Maybe 10 candles.
Okie doke. Is there any kind of like pamphlet or Go to something like somewhere to go sit down. Hey, you never know who evangelizes and who doesn't.
That's right. You find pretty much similar books, all leather bound in like a dark brown with that 7-pointed symbol. Yeah, and I would say you can go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh, yay, that 20 for 23.
Okay. These people worship Zalric. You know nothing of this deity. It is what the symbol stands for. Just, sort of reading through they don't really have a Bible. They have volumes. And, you're meant to sort of paw through them. And, it seems like a very quaint, High Plains drifter type of deity for the dusty and destitute. Just kind of sitting here for, I don't know, how long do you want to read their first volume, or I'll say that's the 8th volume.
I don't know, probably like a half hour, trying to be like unobtrusive as possible.
Half hour, okay. Yeah, you do glean with a nat 20 investigation, that Zalric is the fisherman farmer's deity. I mean, to a T. Like, basically everything that farmers do is supported by Zalric. Everything that the life of the fisherman, it's almost like the perfect religion for this town. You do get the sense that Zalric is sort of a kind of a stepping back kind of a deity, not exactly an active in your life deity. Making sacrifices of like crops. Burning a section of crops in Zalric's name is meant to bring good fortune on the next harvest. Or dumping a barrel of fish into the lake while you pray is meant to bring a good haul the next season, that kind of thing. Not really, nothing to speak of as far as like miracles or really divine intervention. It seems like kind of a laid back kind of a religion. A lot of traditions and rituals when it comes to like gathering around the dinner table and supporting your elders and things like that.
So, but I don't feel like it's like any kind of like crazy or malicious.
Not in this volume.
Energy or anything. Not in any of that volume. Okay, dokie.
The crazy sacrifices are volume 5.
Yeah, you are holding volume 8.
Okay. Is there any other like volumes around?
Oh yeah.
I could just come through.
It's going to take you longer than a half hour though.
That's fine. I don't mind. I got a little while.
Okay. Let's have another investigation check, just to keep it spicy.
Investigation. Not as good. That'll be a 15.
15. All right. You're getting bored reading.
Yeah.
Reading religious literature has never been your favorite part of being a devout monk.
Yeah.
You're much more of a spreading Palor's gospel across the land kind of a girl.
With your fists if needed.
Yeah. Spreading by force. But you kind of snag a couple more books, and I'll say that with a 15, you kind of scan them both, and you get Volume 1 and Volume 3. And Volume 1 is the creation myth. They do believe that Zalric kind of crafted the world out of a clump of clay left over from a previous universe that he had overseen. And you get the feeling like with this universe, with this world, I'm going to take it easy and I'm going to let them kind of govern themselves, kind of a thing, and there were prominent figures that this is a handwritten volume. So obviously your knowledge of religion is things get lost in translation sometimes. So there were like early religious figures that have long since disappeared with history, and that you get the feeling of the Great Shepherd is sort of like a a mentality that all should aspire to, and that is to kind of help your fellow man and treat the world as your flock, as others will treat you and the world as their flock. And if we all can sort of, rustle ourselves past the hardships and the evil in this world, then we'll all be kind of a great community together, kind of a thing. It seems a little hokey and a little lazy, actually. It doesn't seem as, when you think of religion, you think of Pelor. Pelor is I will cleanse the land of all evil, and my shining sun will light the whole universe, kind of a thing. This is a lot less.
Very much like, be nice to everybody and everybody will love you too. Like,
yeah.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah. Volume 3, just the little that you kind of dip your nose into is kind of a proper way to... who posted that? It's like you're in a cult. Jesus freaking Bogey, give me a chance here. Not everything is a Shekas cult.
I am not. You made that connection, not me. I was just commentating.
Okay. All right. I see. But the volume 3 is kind of like more of more of an agricultural book. It's talking about the most divine of crops and how to make your offerings to Zalric, and getting right down to like almost like a farmer's almanac. Like, this is how much water you should use per square yard of dirt and stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Axton would probably be really interested in this one.
It's no. I'll let him know. Okay. And so after that, I think I'll just like go try to like see if I can figure out if this is like the only kind of like religion in the area, or if there's other like smaller temples or groups or anything, or if it's all just the one situation.
All right. As you go to leave, you see kind of like you've left the double doors in the narthex behind you open a crack, so it's letting light in as it's a little dark in the entrance until you get into the foyer itself. You see a silhouette of what looks like a shrouded smaller person, maybe an elf, maybe a half elf, just sort of standing there, and you're just getting the silhouette. You see the shadow of her arm sort of reach from behind whatever clothing she's in, and from her fingertips, you see her like almost snap her index finger and her thumb together, like snap it, and a little flame lights one of the sconces.
Ooh. Very cool.
As she kind of steps into the light, you see that she's wearing like a very earthy brown shawl that almost covers her eyes. It's very low over her face. She has kind of an elderly look underneath her shroud now that she's in the light. Full brown robe. It's almost like she's wearing a dark brown burlap sack that's like, cut for her to have like a hood or a shawl. And she just, it looks like you startle her a little. She kind of turns to you and she's like, "Oh, dearie. Hello."
Hello.
I don't recognize you. Are you new in these parts?
No. I am. My name is Maven.
Well, welcome to the rock. Welcome to the church on the Rock of Zalric.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a donation?
Sure. She'll pull out like some 3 silver, and is there like a donation plate or something that I can?
Yeah,
do?
she kind of gestures. She sort of gestures to an offering. It's not a plate. It's like a wooden box with a slot on the top.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and as you drop them in, you're able to hear as they hit. It sounds like they hit like at least a pile or a surface covering of other coins. And, yeah, doesn't sound like it just hit bare wood, so looks like maybe they get regular offerings.
Okay. Is this the only church in the area?
Of course. This is the only church we need. Were you looking to
Sure.
join our congregation?
I don't think I'm going to be staying for very long, so I was just passing through, trying to
And-
see what kind of services and stuff were offered.
Services? Well, the Reverend hasn't held services in a while, but he always welcomes his flock to come and pray and communicate with Zalric in their own way. And we, the Sisters of the Star, do our best to maintain the property in the ways that Zalric teaches us to keep a home. She's gonna clock you're gonna see her clock your Palor pendant, and she's
Yeah.
gonna kind of fixate on it just for a second, and she says, "You're of the Order of the Sun?
I am.
Ah, you're a long way from home then, aren't you, dearie?
A little bit.
Well, what brings you this far east, away from the Empire?"
Oh, you know, just adventuring and traveling around. Nothing too specific.
And as you're answering her, you notice behind you is another of these sisters. She's a little shorter, looks like maybe a dwarf. She's plump around the midriff, and it looks like she's also snapping her little fingers and lighting one of these. Actually, it looks like she's lighting all of the torch sconces in the room.
Okay.
And there's another one that comes from behind a pillar, kind of mid-height between the two you've just seen. This one looks maybe a little younger, with kind of an orange kind of skin covered in a you can't really see real clearly because it's under a hood, but kind of an orange short fur covered flesh with sort of a cat's nose and a cat's kind of mustache mouth. And strangely, you hear a purring sound coming from them.
Love that. So you said he hasn't held services in a while. Did he give any reason, or was it just kind of sudden?
Well, for that, I'm going to need a persuasion check.
Oh, great at these. Let's see how great I do today. Persuasion. Dirty 20.
Wow.
Rolled a 19. I can talk
You
to religious
see-
people, just not bartenders, apparently.
Right. That seems very fair.
Yeah.
As the two new sisters of the Star, it's not like they surround you. It looks like they're just kind of milling about the room and straightening books and dusting here and dusting there. You see this first person you spoke to, just her head just kind of settle, and it looks like she's turning to slightly readjust herself near a wall where it looks like she's pulling out a book, and she flips to a page, and she just starts reading a passage. And on the day the shepherd departed his flock, he did so to contemplate the will of Zarek. And she just sort of like rests on that phrase just for a couple seconds and then slowly closes the book. So is the schedule of the Reverend. He interprets the will of Zarek on his own time, and when he's something to say, he gathers us.
Okay. Thank you so much for your information.
Mm-hmm.
And have a great day. And she'll try to
I'm gonna run that hill.
unobtrusively walk out.
I will say this. One of them, you were able to get a good look at under their hood, and it looked like the dwarf, as as she was like reaching up to light a sconce, you noticed at her neck was a collar.
If I did want to come back, would I? If I wanted to speak to like these ladies again, would it be easy enough to like just go in and like find them again?
Are you asking me or are you asking them?
You first, and then if the answer is like they seem like they don't want to be anywhere near me right now, then I'll just drop it.
Well, that's not the case. They seem very,
Okay.
They seem very, very chill with you being in their church. As there are, a dozen people currently in their church.
Yeah.
I'll say that if you want to throw me an insight check, I can give you a little more on their vibe.
Okay, insight. 11.
11, yeah. I mean, they don't seem to be interested in you beyond the idea of you being a fellow living being deserving of religious attention. They don't seem to be like spying on you. They also don't seem to be ignoring you either.
Okay. I will like say something along the lines of like, well, I hope to see you guys again soon, and then leave.
Okay. As you leave, one of them that was, doing some cleaning, kind of the what looks like perhaps a Bengal tabaxi under this hood. Mm-hmm. She kind of approaches you, and she has her hands one palm up, one palm down in front of her, and she just kind of it looks like she kind of apparates something in her hand, and as she removes her top hand, you realize that it looks like you've seen Koza do this. She druid crafted a 7-pointed star out of what looks like tumbleweeds twigs, and it has little tiny, like very simple, tiny little purple flowers that sort of dot it, and she just sort of hands it to you, and you see her dip her hand. May Zarek's blessing be upon you.
Thank you, and also with you. She'll take it and like put it in a pocket somewhere, I guess.
Okay.
Try to keep it as safe as possible.
All right. You can add a twig Zalric sigil, I guess, to your inventory.
Okay. Yeah, and then I'll leave.
Baranor, I'm not giving into your bait. All right. As you depart back into the main thoroughfare of Cobb, let's move over to Yuno. Is there anything Yuno would like to specifically do right now in Cobb for like the next 2-3 hours?
Yuno is going to hunt down the artificer and try to get some guns.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make you can make a persuasion check or an investigation check as far as where to find the artificer.
That's going to be an 18 for investigation.
Okay. Are you what are you particularly doing to look? Because this gunslinger / artificer doesn't advertise where he lives. So what would you say you're particularly doing to find him?
Ask around, starting with some of the local shopkeepers.
Okay. Doing that with an 18, not hard to find. He's in kind of an off the beaten path sort of shop that doesn't really have any signage at all. It looks like just a wooden door on the front of a dwelling it looks like it's situated between two other dwellings, and the only item of significance is the fact that this door has a barrel, and not a full barrel, like a half barrel outside of it, with a kind of a cushion on top, and in front of it you can see little wooden shavings, like somebody was whittling here. And that is the clue that the shopkeeper gave you as to where Chet lives.
I'm gonna knock on the door.
Okay. About maybe 10, 15 seconds later, almost to the point where you're ready to either try the handle or walk away because no one's home, the door handle click-clacks opens, and you see that dog-like face of a... hold on. Yeah, it's kind of like a... What would you say that breed is? Kind of a terrier mix with like white and brown blotches all over his face. Kind of a blunted snout, not exactly an elongated snout. But you see that this person has taken off their hat, and you can kind of see inside past his shoulder real quick. Lots of tools on the wall. Looks like various of these pistols are hanging in different states of repair. You know, one's missing a chamber, one's missing a barrel, stuff like that. And he just sort of looks you up and down, and he's like, "Oof. The hell do you want?"
I'm interested in buying 2 of your fine wares.
You want to buy my guns, as you're saying?
At least 2 of them.
He just kind of sticks his head out into the alley that his house or dwelling is, and kind of looks towards, you know, where the foot traffic would be, and then gives a quick glance. He's like, "You one of them?" And he sort of starts sniffing you. "You one of them Wrangler spies?"
Nope, have no clue what the Wranglers are.
Insight check. Oh, damn it. It's almost a natural 20.
19?
Oh no, I'm making the insight check. He just kind of gives you like a long 1,000-yard stare, and he's like, "All right, pard, but no funny business, you hear?"
Just regular business.
And he kind of walks around, and you get kind of, as you step inside, he shuts the door behind you. It's kind of dark in here, except for a workbench at the far corner of the room, because there's like, you know, little oil lamps here and there. But this area, this back area, is very, very well lit. Other than that, you can see an assortment of weapons that he has hanging from like hooks in the ceiling that sort of hook onto the trigger guard of a lot of these guns. You know, he's got long guns, he's got blunderbusses, he has, and your experience with firearms is very limited. You're not exactly sure, one, how they work. You're not exactly sure the different kinds that there are. Firearms are sort of a new technology, and it looks like this place has found that technology a little quicker than other parts of the world. Even the Empire struggles with firearms. And you see him kind of give you a look over, and he goes, You recording everything I say?"
Not recording anything at all.
And he goes, "Well, good, and you won't mind this." And he touches a bauble on a shelf, and there is a effect that takes place over the entire shop. And you can feel a draining of your arcane ability. And he goes, "All right, now that things are on a bit of an even keel, what can I do for you?"
I'd like to purchase a couple of your items here.
"Well, you got anything in particular in mind?" I got sixers, I got hammer shooters, I got blunderbuss, I got shotguns, long guns, little guns, big guns. What do you want to kill, and what do you want to hold? Guess that's the question.
Let's start with some sixers.
All right. He kind of takes a couple of, we'll say, simple-looking pistols. They have kind of a wooden, polished handle, a darkened steel body. They have rotating chambers that can hold 6 projectiles. And the barrels themselves are about 6 inches long with a little iron sight on the tip. He slaps these down. He says, "These here are the tried and true sixer plenties, I call them. And, well, they're real simple to fire. You don't have to really know how to shoot. That means you don't have to be proficient to use them. They fire 6 rounds, and then you gotta reload them. That can take some time, so it'd probably behoove you to have your target on the ground before you have to do that. And, yeah, they're pretty good in a pinch. You can wield 2 at once. And yeah, they're gonna run you 150 gold a pop.
Take 2 with
Okay.
holsters and as much ammo as I can fit in whatever container you can give me.
Well, he kind of looks over at a crate and he's like, "Well, you want to get crazy? I can sell you a whole bunch of ammo in about 2 days' time once my shipment comes in. Right now, all I can give you is, well, if I'm gonna keep some for myself, I can give you 50 rounds."
Sold.
Okay. Well, if you ride out of town tonight, there's an old sycamore tree, got blasted with bullet holes in it, dead as a doornail. I would suggest going there and practicing shooting before you try and go all gung-ho. You feel me?
Take that under consideration.
Well, give him a twirl, and then you see him kind of take his guns out of his holsters and kind of spin them backwards in his fingers and catch them. You see him kind of twist them to the left, twist them to the right, and slide them right back in their holsters, and kind of gives you a look like, "Woof, what you think?"
I like them. I'll take them.
All right, well, there you go. He's going to offer you holsters and a gun belt. Okay. So, a little bit of mechanics. I'm kind of homebrewing these mechanics. Since you're not proficient in them, I know I said you don't have to be proficient to use them, which is true. You can, if you want to cast a spell, you can do so and fire a pistol at the same time. And with these pistols, you can add a d6 to whatever damage if it's a hit, or say if they fail their save, if it's a save spell. You can add a d6 of damage for every shot that you shoot. You can shoot 2 bullets in 1 turn. Okay? You got that?
Okay.
And then the gun belt holds 10 rounds. Okay, which means at the end, 12 rounds. At the end of your turn, you can use a bonus action to reload 1 pistol. And then you can use the bonus action of your next turn to reload the other pistol, and then you can keep firing if you wish. Or you can use an action to reload both.
Okay.
And that's how those guns work. If you were proficient with them, the damage would go up, and you'd also get an attack modifier, but you're not proficient in firearms.
How much do I owe for the whole set?
They're 150 apiece.
And the gun belt, ammo, all that?
He's going to sell you 50 rounds of ammo for 50 gold, or a gold a pop. Pretty pricey. And he'll sell you both gun belts and holsters for like 10 gold. And they're actually very well made. They're stamped. They got little Western motifs on the holster and stuff.
It's 360.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, is there anything else I can interest you in? Maybe a handgun for the missus?
I think that'll be it for now.
Well, tell your friends, but don't tell too many friends, if you know what I'm saying. All right. That was like 10 minutes worth of time. Is there anything else you would like to do?
No, I'm gonna head back towards the bar.
Okay. You find, let's see, is Maven making her way back to that bar, or are you guys meeting someplace else?
We didn't discuss it, so I figured I would just head back to the bar.
All right. You find Baranor returning from his reconnaissance trip. You find Koza tiptoeing in as he returns from school. And just to bookend that, Koza, you found yourself taking the children to a small wooden building that's just adjacent of the church on the hill of Zalric. And it looks like the six Weave children are joining about maybe 20 other children as they file into, these very small, there's maybe 6 classrooms in this small little school. And they split the kids up by, relative age. It looks like most of the Weave children are kind of staying in one class, and then the 2 older ones are going into another class. You see religious iconography kind of sprinkled in, but also like covered up by like hand-drawn sketches of like a cow or a dinosaur and stuff like that. It doesn't look like, like an indoctrination camp or anything like that. You don't really stick around too long to observe the lessons. It looks like, they spend about maybe 10-15 minutes kind of getting settled in and asking how your night was and things like that. And that's when you kind of toddle off and meet the rest of the group, as Axton is we'll say Axton's is kind of nursing another whiskey. It looks like he likes whiskey. Baranor is also kind of sitting in his chair, sort of staring off in a particular direction.
What was my haul?
Your haul, there was no coin in the pouch.
Okay.
There was
I
no
got
coin.
that much.
It's what looks like a small mechanical device. It's almost like a lipstick container that is segmented by small gears, and as you spin the gear, another section of it will turn, and you spin that gear. Eventually, you found that there is the back end can unscrew, and there's what looks like a kind of a blue glowing jewel that's sort of attached, and you haven't yet dared to pluck it out.
Does it look like some kind of storage container, or is this all one contraption?
It seems like it's kind of all the gears and moving parts are all in service of the end, and it's like this very small blue jewel, maybe about the size of a marble at where the lipstick would come out. And as soon as you pull the cover off of it, this whole thing can spin to present that jewel a little further out the front, just like a lipstick. I'm not saying it's a lipstick.
Right.
It just looks like it. And you're not sure. It looks like it's made of a metal that is not gold and not quite brass. It sort of reminds you of Tellarite, or excuse me, not Tellarite. It sort of reminds you of Palladium, which is what Axton's armor is made of, but it's the color it was before he had it enchanted. But it's a little different. It's got kind of a nickel, a brushed nickel look to it.
Interesting.
Lipstick taser. I love that.
It was the first thing I thought of when you were describing it. So
you should point it toward your chest and push the button on the bottom.
yeah, there's a button.
Kravish, you're starting to finish up with what you were doing on stage. Nobody tossed you any coin, unfortunately, but it doesn't seem like that's what happens here.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that, but it is what it is.
It's fine. Did I manage to pick up any information?
So, you heard a lot of chatter about the fishing season, how the south side of the southwestern handle on the Horseshoe Lake has sort of dried up, and not exactly sure why, but there's definitely still stock to be gleaned in the northern sections of the lake. You also heard about an accident at the mine. It seems like this is a bit of news that's sort of traveling by word of mouth. You haven't heard a town crier talking about it or anything like that. Well, you wouldn't. You're inside, but Baranor didn't hear anything like that. So the details are a little sketchy. You don't really know where the mine is or what kind of mine it is. You didn't hear anything that Baranor heard about a problem with the timber transport, but you do, hear about the fact that Mickey lost a brother there 2 years ago and stuff like that. It seems like, with that, you gauge maybe it's not the safest mine in the world, although there are accidents in mines all the time, of course. You hear a little bit of gossip about the owner of the leather feather, that he's been sleeping on the couch for a while, so to speak. Maybe him and the missus aren't getting on as they were. You hear that you hear news of a group of travelers that arrived last night that were mostly lavishly dressed, and you see, you kind of catch sight of that, and you see them look up at you, and they start to their heads go together, and they whisper to each other, and kind of very not so subtly point up at you, and then they kind of change the subject. You hear about the Wranglers apprehending a known thief in the area who was he was kind of a horse rustler, and his last transgression of succumbing to drink and stabbing a shopkeep was the last of his offenses before being apprehended for good, they think. And that's kind of it.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess while I'm wrapping up and, ordering my evening meal, or afternoon meal, I guess that's when everybody starts showing up.
Yeah, pretty much. Baranor, while the liquor starts to wane and your head starts to transfer from tipsy into that sort of warbly feel when you're coming down from like an afternoon buzz, and you're sort of shaking the mini headache loose. That's when that connection with Luna sort of, peacefully sort of severs. Like, you don't get the feeling that her connection was ripped apart or anything like that.
Right. I was just happy to have it while I did. You see Baranor look a little more downtrodden again, but not as bad as before. Who has the reconvening? Who has the orb of remembrance?
The orb of Farsight.
Farsight. Orb of Farsight.
That's what is that? Yeah, it might. I don't know. He's got a lot of stuff in the bag of holding, I think, right?
I know, but I gave it to someone when I left.
Yeah.
I think he gave it to me. I don't remember me having the orb.
Okay.
I think
What has it?
Not important, right?
Yeah, it's with the party. Do you want it?
Later.
Okay. Well, later you'll have it.
And my dagger back.
Oh, here, I haven't even used it. Here you go.
I think you gave out a couple things, didn't you?
According to Steph, I just gave out the flame dagger and the orb.
Well, you gave Axton 2 potions, and he's not giving them back.
That's fine. So, what did everybody learn?
Yeah.
Well, I learned that the Reverend hasn't been at their temple in a while. They had a
Hasn't?
real vague, like not holding services or anything for a long time. They had a real vague
seen
kind
him?
of non-answer. Nobody told me that. I'm just telling you what I know. Stop interrupting me.
I just learned the name of the medicine woman in town.
And were they able to give you much insight on what Nila's been doing other than work or anything like that?
I tried to ask as vaguely as possible to not sound too forward, but they didn't know anything more than we did.
I just picked up bits and pieces of conversation. Apparently, there's big news right here. And something
Picked
about
up
a mine accident.
I also heard about the mine.
Yeah, apparently that's it. Did you ever look?
I don't know. I just know that it's going to cause a hassle for the timber.
Okay.
I have no connect. I had no idea how that is in connection with the mine. It almost sounded like code, but I couldn't be sure.
Like what?
Code,
Okay.
but maybe my mind was somewhere else. Heard something about the fishing was there's a dip in the fishing or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that. It's more in the southwest.
I didn't hear a direction. I just heard fishing was not too great or something like that recently. Saw a jeweler in town that you might be wanting to check out, Ravish, and Paxton. There's a blacksmith as well. They're both on the east side of town.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll have to get over there at some point. Are we looking to, like, stay here real long? Like, what exactly is our goal? Are we... I mean...
we found your kid. Now what?
Yeah, I think that's up to Koza, really. What do you want to do, Koza?
Well, I'd like to at least figure out what the deal with these collars is, and if it's
Yes.
really nothing to be worried about.
One of the people at the temple had a collar on too. Like, they're like all over the place. Yeah.
That is strange.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of people here too. I haven't seen anybody like, super fancy pants wearing one. They all look like they're kind of like laborers, even maybe middle class.
I think one of the people we definitely need to talk to is the sheriff.
Yeah. What's the rough time of day?
It's like, 1, 2
Oh, okay.
p.m. It's still high, late midday.
I almost said it.
Well,
It's high noon.
Well, let's go find our way to the police precinct and make an introduction.
All right. How are you going to search for that? Because there's not really a sign that you've seen for the sheriff.
Even in my wanderings around town, I didn't.
All you saw were Wranglers, kind of keeping their eye on everybody. You got followed for like maybe 50 feet before you successfully ducked into an alley and lost your tail. You're not even totally sure if they were following you, but they were definitely going in the same direction for a few twists and turns.
That's the barkeep. Like, we're wanting to, introduce ourselves and make our peaceful intentions known to the sheriff to help avoid any.
We could just say we're inquiring about the missing people or one of the jobs in the newspapers.
But at any rate, I asked the barkeep.
Mm-hmm. He kind of gives you a look like, you want to see the sheriff?
If that's a thing anything that can be done, yeah.
I mean, not a lot of people go around here seeking out law enforcement. It's kind of a strange request, but I guess if you want to make yourself known, well, you can find the sheriff's office and the jail on the northwest side of the town. Just a piece of road down from the church on the rock.
Much obliged. Hey, and thanks for giving me the time here. I really appreciated the opportunity to work some muscles and get to hang out.
He kind of gives you a side glance and he goes, you know, why don't you come on back and do that again tonight, maybe tomorrow night. Bring in enough people and have them enjoy your time. Well, maybe I'll throw you some coin. And he takes a single gold and kind of rolls it down the bar at you. And he goes, that's a little advancement. It's pretty good plucking you did.
You got yourself a deal.
All right, Kravish.
And what was the barkeep's name here again?
His name is Olag. Olag. And he is a very tall, balding human man with dark brown hair and mutton chop mustache and big round nose. It's kind of built like a Goliath, kind of. Big boy.
All right. Much obliged, Olag. See you later.
Yeah, pleasant trails.
Okay. All righty then. Well, what do you say we check in at the Copper Nickel and make sure your kiddo's still doing okay? Maybe grab a little bit of a bite and head on down where we were talking earlier.
All right.
Oh, and I also need to fill you guys in on something cool. I take out that little anchor token, and I told them about how that banjo player actually serves on an airship that does commercial routes, and maybe could consider taking us on when they leave port in about a week or so, if we're so inclined.
Have you seen an airship?
Well, you saw, you kind of walked around the north sort of bend of Cobb that sort of hugs the south shore of the Horseshoe Lake, and that's where all the docks are. And you saw mostly little boats. You saw a couple of what looks like kind of transport ships. It doesn't appear that any of them are airships. You just saw a bunch of ships with their sails down. Not a bunch of ships. You saw like 5.
I mean, being from the Empire, have we seen airships before?
Yeah, you've not seen a terrible amount, but you guys did briefly stop into Haven's Crest at one point. I know you all did at some point. And just walking the streets, you've seen, things flying through the air, and it's not a terribly common apparatus. Certainly, knows all about airships. Maven knows all about airships. Kravish. And I would say that Kravish, I think you've ridden on one before.
Yeah, once.
Yeah.
So the concept is not foreign to us.
Not terribly foreign. It's definitely an interesting idea, as it's not that common.
Novel.
Yeah. I would imagine at least one of you have to have a deathly afraid of heights. It just comes down to who it is.
Probably Baron.
I live in the mountains. Probably not.
Should we roll for it?
I would say Maven is immune to, as the Taliesin Monastery is on a mountain.
It's on a cliff, yeah.
I don't know if Baranor would be afraid of heights, but afraid of being off the ground.
Yeah. It's not the height that bothers me, it's the sudden stop when you fall.
Yes. Not the fall that kills you, it's landing.
that Delta V that always gets you.
Yeah. But he's always been close to the earth and just having his foot on the ground. So being high up does not.
Yeah, I mean, you climb giant trees and sleep in them, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but I'm still in a tree.
That's true. You're
attached to
surrounded
the
by the earth.
It's connected
Yeah.
from terra firma.
Yeah. So, anywho, I would hope it's not an accident since he has a pair of wings.
That would be funny.
That'd be funny.
And he's mine now, so I can make that happen if I want to.
Does he
All right.
still listen to the sessions?
I don't know. I don't know that he ever did. But
You haven't kicked him off of here, or he hasn't left here, so.
no. No. Sometimes I can see him online, sometimes he's not.
Yeah.
Wherever he is, I hope he's happy in his new job. Well, his new work schedule.
Yeah.
That's happened to like half the party. Yeah, half the previous party had to leave for work reasons.
Yeah, Steph had to look at me for work purposes.
Yeah.
Except she got abducted by a dragon during that, so.
Yeah, I did. I got abducted by a dragon and brainwashed. Like,
Hey, not for nothing. Corey only had to miss 2 sessions, and I straight up killed him.
you just killed him. Yeah.
I was like, hey, I want to make drama. How about this?
He was only mostly dead.
You can come back as someone else.
He came back. We put him in the bag of holding. He was fine.
He was only mostly dead. Alright.
Okay, so yeah.
All right, to the copper nickel.
To the copper nickel.
Oh, no.
And the copper nickel's starting to kind of pick up as the late afternoon crowd is, coming back. You see a couple people, they're knocking dust off their pants. They've got sort of a dusty, very heavy dust on their trousers and their torso. Their hands got dust. It looks like one of them's got like a helmet with a little candle on the top of it. There's a crowd of ranchers that came in from driving their herd. Maybe 6 of them. They sort of surround the bar and occupy it, and it's that moment that you can see Nila kind of moving in between a couple of tables and dropping a tray of ales to a quartet of dwarves that are all in kind of like ranch hand attire. They got like denim overalls and big black boots, and they're all wearing bowler hats.
I kind of whisper over to Una, maybe this is the time you can check to see if those things are magical at all.
I'll cast Detect Magic.
So when you do that, you can see a shadow in the corner of the room straighten up from behind 2 people. Wide-brimmed black hat, long black duster coat, black clothes, and he kind of straightens up and just kind of walks towards you, and you see him kind of pull out what looks like a very small. It almost looks like a detonator, only it's made of like wood. And as he presses it, that effect ricochets all over, or excuse me, your detect magic ricochets all over the room, and you get all these blips of magical energy all over the place, like dotting the room. Even in places like you look at the wall and there's like a dot of magical resonance on the wall, but there's nothing on it, and you just feel like you're surrounded by a field of magical presences. And this Wrangler kind of steps up to Yuno and kind of gets real close to almost to where the brims of their hats touch. And he just kind of grunts at you. He's got a human face, poorly shaven. He's got a bandana around his neck, and you can't quite see his eyes under the shadow of his hat. And he just says, "What you poking around magic-like for?"
What are you saying? Are you speaking common? I can't understand.
I asked you a question, spell chucker. And he's joined by two other wranglers, one up next to his side and one behind your whole group. Is there something in particular you're trying to ascertain?
Oh,
Perhaps
gentlemen, don't.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing, Dragonborn. Why don't you just keep your pretty little mouth shut for the moment? I'm talking to this one. I said, I am to ascertain and acquiesce your desired intention with said arcana effect. Are those big enough words for you, boy?
Does he have a gun in his holster? Or a gun holstered, I should say.
You don't see that because his duster is covering his belt. So he does not have a exposed gun belt.
Okay.
He doesn't have his hand in his coat either. He's just standing there.
Okay. Do any of them have their...
Oh yes, one of them has it doesn't have a duster. He's got kind of a jacket, and he definitely has two silvered pistols on his hip. And the one you're talking to, Kenny, he kind of leans back over at Kravish and you can say, looks like your boy here is a little mute. Maybe you ought to be speaking for him. Why don't you tell him and the rest of your troop we don't take kindly to detection spells around these parts. It's one of them rules of the road. I think it's best that y'all take your business elsewhere. Copper nickel shut to you. And they're going to start moving towards you. You can either stand still and get hit by them, or move backward. What do you do?
Take a step back.
Okay. They're continuing their advance.
Are they corralling us out of the...
Yeah, they're bumping their way. They're bumping their way out of the saloon with you in front of them. And you notice that pretty much the entire bar is now hushed and quiet. And everyone seems to be looking at you. Go on now. That's it. That's it. Yeah, sure you didn't. Damn tourists.
I want to jump over his head real bad. Real bad. Like Jennifer Coolidge bad.
I'll say that you're kind of reeling from this magical effect that you got. You're not exactly sure. You're either really sure that there's a lot of magical items in this place, or something that guy's little device did scrambled up your detection of magic. You're not exactly sure. You've never, ever experienced this before.
I'm gonna look to the rest of the crown collectors and see what they want to do. Because Yuno's ready to throw.
Maven's ready to throw down. She is
Oh, that's 2 votes. I take that as votes.
I'm not moving.
You're not moving? Okay, make a strength
Neither
check.
am I.
'Cause This guy, both of you, make a strength check. Because these guys are moving you out.
Jesus Christ.
Strength saving
And I
throw,
just,
rather.
They duck underneath him.
You can make an acrobatics check.
Perfect. Love that.
18.
18, that's
22.
good. Yeah, all right. 21, that's good enough as well. You want to make a strength saving throw?
No, but I'm gonna push the guy with my mind.
You're going to use... Okay, go ahead and... let's see here. You're going to use telekinesis?
Yep. Telekinetic shove.
Okay. Nothing happens. And as you push him with your mind, you immediately get this racking headache, this horrible headache, because you can still see this field of magical little flits and dots all over the room. And one of the Wranglers looks at the other and goes, I see we got a stubborn bunch. Call the others. And
Let's grab
Yeah,
both
I'm
guns.
actually, trying to be nice.
you see one of the Wranglers sort of put a almost looks like a whistle up to his mouth and blow into it, and you just hear almost like a very hushed train whistle sound. Very, very, very hushed though. And at that point, you
try and sleight of hand both guns out of the guy's holsters.
Okay, go ahead and make a sleight of hand at disadvantage.
Sure. I will definitely be psychic hacking that. Disadvantage, sleight of hand.
28.
Hang on. 29.
29. How do you keep rolling
Okay.
ones? That's my job.
I'm gonna say that even that high of a roll, you only get one of them. And
Okay, that's fine.
as you pull it, this guy grabs you by the wrist. He's real quick. He's a little ropier and spindlier and taller than the others. Grabs your hand and he goes, "What you doing with my iron?" And he is going to. All of them are going to push you with a force that you have never felt before. You saved on your strength, but these guys are now actively. They all draw their guns. They all point. They each have two. One of them has a big rifle, and he's gonna actually.
One has one now.
Yeah, he's gonna. They're gonna point all of them at you, and they're all gonna. You can hear them cocking their piece, and everyone in the bar starts to get up and spread out and filter out of the bar. You guys are about maybe 2 or 3 feet from the main door, and that's when the back of the bar, the door opens up, and it's just a huge, hulking, massive humanoid man draped in the shadow and the silhouette of the sun behind him, and he is going to barrel all of you into the doorway. I need everyone to make a strength saving throw, and I'll say that Maven and Baranor are on the outskirts, so you guys can make dex saves.
Oh,
Hey.
24.
I got 16.
16. Okay,
Jesus Christ.
Wow, everybody rolled really well.
My job.
you rolled well. DC was 20.
Oh,
This big hulking creature grabs the 4 middle ones and just barrel pushes you out into the street. Maven and Baranor dip out of the way, and as they do, you see your party members kind of get pushed out the front door, and you're all just sort of knocked flat on your backs in the street. You see this hulking creature stand over you. He's currently not wearing a hat, but he kind of looks at you, and you notice that as he turns into the sun, he has huge hulking muscles. He's got enormous lower jaw fangs or tusks that protrude from his lip, and he's wearing what looks like a huge double-sided battle axe on his back. He's got a large double-barreled shotgun clipped to his belt and a pistol on his other hip. And what you see that I finally get to show you is, hold on, this guy. If it'll let me. It might be too big. I hope it's not too big. Sometimes it's too big and it tells me no. Hey, it let me. Damn, 22 megs. That's a big picture.
Big file for big boy.
Big file for big boy. He is massive, by the way. He is at least 7.5 feet tall. He is
Nothing's
huge.
showing up, so.
Yeah, I know. Give it a second.
Okay.
Loading.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, jeez.
oh boy.
He has a 7-pointed
Yay.
tin star on his chest, and he goes and one of the Wranglers kind of hands him a large Wrangler hat that he slips on his head. He says, "Looks like we gotta have us a lesson learned. Y'all think you can take the irons of my deputies? That's not how we treat law in this town. We don't like foreigners coming in here and disrupting the rule of law. So pull your irons, you ruffians. Taste the edge of my blade. I need everyone to roll initiative.
All right. This is
Woo!
motherfuckers.
As
Did I
I...
manage to hold it?
Yes, you have a gun
Oh
now.
no, there's a dinosaur.
Yeah, I have a gun.
You have the same mechanics that... Were you listening when I told about his mechanics?
Kind of.
Okay. You have a pistol.
Obviously, I'm not going to be using spell,
That's true.
but so it's a D6 the damage.
Well, you can either shoot the gun or shoot the bow. You can't do both.
Right, obviously. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, since you're not proficient, it's an extra D6 of damage if you hit.
Right, but I'm saying if I'm just shooting it,
Yes,
It's
if
a
you're
D6.
just shooting, it is a D6. Yeah.
okay. You said an additional D6. I'm like, addition to what? I'm only.
If
shooting-
you were casting a spell, it would be an additional D6.
Got it. Okay. And it's twice per action or twice per attack?
Twice per. Well, if you have two guns, you have twice per attack, or twice per action,
right,
really,
right.
because you have to reload it with a bonus action. But you don't have
Right,
any
but, like,
spare
you know-
ammo.
But I have multi-attack.
Right. You would have to spend a bonus action. Well, no. If it's a 6-shooter, it has 6 rounds. So per
Right, so am I
per
shooting
attack
2 or 4?
action. Yeah, per attack. No, you wouldn't shoot 2 because you don't have 2 guns. You can shoot 1 per attack action. If you have multi-attack, you can shoot 2 bullets. That make sense?
All right, that's all I want. Yep.
Let's see here. Is this going to sound cool? Let's see if this sounds cool.
Where's my initiative? Do I have my mini on the battlefield?
I don't know. I gotta go AFK for just a few seconds. So if you guys want to roll your initiatives, hold on to your numbers, and if you need help inputting stuff, I'll do it when I get back. Just give me 1 second.
All right. Okie dokie.
This is why I should never listen to you people.
Aw, come on.
You know, you have started more bar fights than any of us.
I just listened to that. You got real mad. Like immediately. Immediately just fucking blasted the crap out.
Zero chill.
Really? Okay, well that's actually 13 because I can't put in the alert debugger.
What?
It won't let me change my initiative on the thing. Maybe I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but it's definitely possible.
I mean,
But it won't let me, like,
probably
add
something in
5
settings.
maybe. Okay, well, I'm not going to be doing that right now.
I know. Yes. So in your
Okay.
settings, the little cog in the top
Mhm.
middle box, there's initiative modifier, and then plus whatever it is.
Now, why doesn't Koza have a little thing?
What does alert have? Is it advantage or just
It's-
plus?
It's plus 5.
Okay, yeah. So it'd be +5 modifier for future rounds.
All right. Let's see. It looks like I got to make the right size.
I need to be put on the feet.
I need to be made the right size as well.
Yep.
I
Let's see
need to
here.
put down.
Okay, hold on. Like a dog. Put down like a dog in the street. Huh. Koza, you need to be stretched out too because you're a big boy. There's Koza. Let's see. There's Maven, I don't see you on the... Oh, I do. I gotta make you the right size. You're not that big.
I'm so big.
Okay, everyone needs to be over
I'm still not on
here.
the field.
Oh, you're not. So place yourselves. Actually, you know what? Sheriff's over here. He kind of angled himself to be over here. Everybody needs to be over here except for Baranor and or excuse me, you guys need to be over here except Baranor, and Maven can be over here and over here. And I gotta get Axton on the field. Here we go. Now, unfortunately, you don't all have firearms. The only one who has firearms is Yuno and Baranor.
Can you add?
I'm pocketing mine, though.
Yep.
Unless I missed it, I still made my mini.
Nope, you didn't miss nothing. I got it right here.
Alright. Yeah. I think I'm the wrong size.
Okay. That's pretty much everybody. Alright. This one, we'll move this one away from you a little bit. Okay, you notice that there are several Wranglers outside, and there are a couple of them behind your group. Let's see. Koza, you got a 1?
Yep.
Ay.
Oh, for my initiative, I need to add that. So 16 points.
It's the balance to be rolling pretty good all day.
Koza forget that he can give himself advantage all of the time.
Yep, he does forget that.
Actually, I'm going to roll my initiative again, but in my original initiative. Unless it's the same, which it is not. 16.
I'm gonna roll my
Okay.
initiative again too.
You do that.
And it's not much better.
I mean, the wizard going last isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not when they're spread out like this.
Okay, you all are currently prone. Except for Baranor and Maven. Is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're missing Axton. Okay.
That's your fault.
Yep, that's my bad.
Okay. Rude, Thomas. Rude.
I'm just pointing out, you can't say
Hey,
anything
man.
about us missing stuff.
I got a lot of shit to deal with here, man.
I know, you got there's quite a few red dots on this screen. There's red dots coming.
Okay. He rolled low. Haha. Okay. That is... Okay. Alright. Kravish, with Yuno on deck, you are first, sir, in this high noon shootout. And since it's your turn, I'm going to make you real big so everybody can see how cool Kravish looks right now.
So cool.
So
So
cool.
fancy.
Well, I'm going to test the waters now that we're outside of the bar. I am going to polymorph on the big fella.
All right. And as a reaction, he's going to pull what looks like a little wand on a handle, kind of like a pistol. And he's going to aim it right at your feet. And you see this little discharge and that quickly disappears into nothing. And your spell has no effect.
Okie dokie. That was done to no. Alrighty then. Well, even harsh language won't work because I can't use vicious mockery.
Is that a spell?
Yes.
Vicious Mockery? Yeah, it's a spell.
Yeah.
I've never played a bard, so I didn't know.
Look over towards Yuno, and I am going to give him a diabardic inspiration. Like, well, looks like we're in some shit. We need you to help us get out of it.
F-A-F-O.
FAFO.
And that's 1d6.
1d8 plus 1d6 because I'm going to use the charge.
Oh, no. My turn?
Hold on, I'm still going to move now. Good. Now that's my turn.
Okay. You know, what are you doing?
I am going to cast Magic Missile
Ooh.
and fire
Instant
a
damage. Okay.
gun and fire my pistol
Mm-hmm.
at this asshole. And I'm gonna
All right.
upcast that at 2nd level. So that's gonna be 44. So that's gonna be 11 plus 1d6. 15.
15. As you raise your pistol, you're not familiar too much with this gun, but with the auto hit ability of Magic Missile, you weave your spell. You wiggle your fingers in your spell way and aim your pistol. And as you fire off the Magic Missile, you realize that only the pistol went off, and it hits the sheriff square in the leg. But no magical energy leaves your fingers. Go ahead and roll that d6.
4.
4 points. All right.
And then
This
I'm
is
gonna
not-
shoot him with the other one.
This is not a good. This is not good Western fight music. Oh, that's why. Because it's no longer playing that music. What the hell? Oh, I know why. Hold on. I'm gonna have to change that. Okay, you're firing off the other pistol. It's gonna be an auto hit because it's all part of. Well, is Magic Missile a 1st level spell?
I upcast it at 2nd.
Okay. Well, that one's gone. You're firing your other pistol though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that I'm gonna need a roll for, and I'll let you use your modifier for your spell save or your spell attack. I'll let you use that. What the hell? What the hell? I'm kind of making this up as I go along.
That's 22.
22 hits. Now you can roll that damage.
That's gonna be 5.
All right. 4 and 5. 9 points of piercing damage. As you fire these guns off, you kind of look at them in your hands, and you were expecting a lot more destructive force coming from you, and the fact that these are the only things that fired, you're happy that they work, and they do work. You hit the orc twice. It is this. Hold on. 1 second. Just 1 second. There we go.
Which one of these is Axton?
This is Axton right here.
I'm gonna move and hide near Axton.
Okay. Alrighty. It is the
That will-
sheriff's turn. Okay. It is the sheriff's turn. He is going to stomp his way with a heavy clink as he's got big, huge spurs on his boots. And yeah, he can definitely make it over there. He's going to saunter over. And he's going to say,
Axton is gonna get an opportunity of attack though, because he entered his space.
that's true. I'll give you that one. He's going to make an attack.
Tunnel fighting.
Yep. I never said that he entered a tunnel defense, but we're gonna go with the group on this one. I'll give you all the help you can get. What's that?
Is it tunnel fighting or pole arm? That
Tunnel fighting.
does that? Okay.
Well, no. Polearm Master is what gives you entering his space, but he gets that as tunnel fighter because it's Unearthed Arcana.
Gotcha.
All right. He's gonna swing his great sword of bleeding. And why didn't it take? Come on, do it. There we go. A DC 17 hits. So he's going to slash as he approaches. And Sheriff Gorg, he just shakes it off. He takes it in stride, and he pulls that big double-bladed axe out from behind his back. And he's going to take 2 swings right at Yuno. All right. The first attack with his axe is a 21.
That hits.
All right. And the second swing with his attack, with his axe, is dirty 20.
That will hit as well.
All right. Let's roll this damage. That's 11 points off of 1 of slashing damage.
For that second attack that hit a 20, I'm going to use Cutting Words.
Okay. Is that a spell?
It is a ability. It's
Okay.
a bardic ability.
Got it. It's 22 points of total damage. What does Cutting Word do?
Let's see.
Your wit. Using your wit. That's such a bard thing to do.
Yeah.
Subtracting the number rolled. Okay.
I burn a
From the
bard
creature's
die,
roll.
And I decrease that increases that 20 whatever I roll.
All right, go ahead. Let's see if the second one misses. I want to hear some real Western insults, too. That's going to be a 16. How does that do?
Shield.
Shield does not work.
And that hits.
All right. Give me your best shot there, Kravish.
Like, well, you know, your aim is as ugly as your hat.
But he's got a dope hat, though.
Yeah.
His hat's awesome. Here, I'll show you. I'll make him real big. He's got a hat just like Maven, I think. Brr, I am big, Sheriff.
Yeah, but she's much better looking than him.
That is probably very true.
It's completely true.
Yeah.
It's 100% true.
It's 100% true. That's 22 points of slashing damage on Yuno. And that's with his left hand. His right hand pulls that double-barreled shotgun out of his holster, and he's going to aim it right at Koza. And let loose. How does the line go? He's going to let loose with both barrels of that sawed-off. That's a 17 against Koza.
That just hits my AC.
And that's a 22 against Koza.
Yeah.
Both barrels, blam. All right, he's gonna hit Koza for 13 points of piercing damage and 9 points of piercing damage. All right, each of his deputies are taking a shot. Every single one of them.
I was just about to ask if they have the same initiative as him.
Yeah, they do. Ain't that a bitch?
Okay.
Yeah, weren't we just talking about things that I have to do to keep things challenging around here?
I must have missed that.
You must have missed that part, eh?
I heard the tail end of it.
Uh-huh. You're gonna learn today. Okay. So, let me zoom out here so I can see all my dudes. All right, there is one on a roof up here and one right here. They're both going after Maven. Okay, so let's see how they do. The first guy shoots you for a 10. The other guy shoots at you for a 17. Miss. All right, that's those two. This guy here and this guy here. One's going for Koza. One's going for Kravish. And they shoot these guns. Blam, blam. 17 for Koza.
Damn it.
And a natural miss for Kravish. All right, so Koza, you get an additional 11 points of piercing damage. Okay, and then we've got these two guys down here. One's going for Kravish, one's going for Axton. So let's do this. That's a 15 against Kravish.
Still misses.
Okay, and then a 16 against Axton, which is also a miss. That is going to end the Law's turn. Baranor, you are up with Maven on deck.
Did this guy...
Oh, wait. Okay.
This one?
Yeah. Thank you, Baranor. Yes, we do have homework this evening.
Hey.
He's going to shoot at you.
Attention too.
You know what? Just for being the class the class reminder, you're getting shot.
I was wondering why no one was shooting at me.
But it was only for a 10.
Yeah.
If we get TPK'd because of you, this is your fault. And my character is coming back as a ghost for the rest of your life.
All right, Baranor, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna scooch on up here behind you.
And after your turn, we'll break for the session for there, just so you know.
Okay. And I will swing away with my Copus.
Isn't that weird? They're completely different swords, but they come from
similar
completely
names.
different
They're-
cultures.
Yeah. It's almost like, a sword is a sword. Anyways. Okay. Swinging away, Meryl. 18.
Yeah, that hits.
Alright.
That hits the Sharf.
Oh, I'm flanking, so I could have gotten advantage. Well, let me...
Yeah, roll advantage.
Roll for...
Oh! How is that not... Oh, you got a 15. I gotcha.
Okay.
That's
okay.
close, though.
Yeah. Alright. And... So 7... And then sneak attack. So 22 damage.
All right.
The sneak attack is the same damage as the weapon type, right? I think that's how that works.
Do what now?
The sneak attack damage is the same damage as the weapon type.
I guess so. I have a question. This 6 plus 6, what is that?
The 6 plus 6.
Yep.
Well,
That's
it's
sneak
12,
attack.
obviously.
No, I'm not asking what it is. I'm asking what is that from?
Where did they come from?
Sneak attack damage.
Sneak attack. Okay. Is there any effect on your weapon that's applied here?
What do you mean?
Like,
I'm confused.
does it do additional necrotic damage or something?
No. It just does necrotic damage. That's
Okay. It does not do necrotic damage in this case. It only does slashing.
okay. All right. So 22 slashing damage.
You also notice that the familiar constant billowing of green and black smoke is gone. It's just a copus now.
Okay, that figures. All right. And then second strike. No sneak attack on this one. 17.
17 also hits.
Oh, God damn it. Roll with advantage. No, 17 hits. Okay. So another 7, so that's a total of 29 slashing damage.
All right, yeah. He that one got him. He's pretty pissed, and in reaction to that, he's going to sling his double-barreled shotgun and grab you by the throat. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. 22.
22. You're going to take half of this as he uses all. You can feel his taloned, huge mitt of a hand wrap around your throat, lift you into the air, and press his fingers into your throat for 12 points of, I guess, squeezing damage as you can feel him crushing your larynx. He's going to take you, and he goes to toss you on the ground, and you flip out of the way.
Okay.
He's just going to stand there with, just looking at you with these huge, beady red eyes, and his tusks kind of chattering as he grinds his teeth.
Okay.
What is it you're trying to accomplish? You really think you can take on all the law of Cobb? We only just got started. Now you all stand down and be ready for irons, or we're gonna make us a pretty mess of this here thoroughfare. And that is where we're going to take a break for the session.
Okay.
All right.
Sometimes.
Woohoo! I was counting the days, counting the minutes before you guys made yourselves the typical criminals in town. Don't care for authority.
Don't care for authority.
I gave you guys odds.
Don't care for
I gave
this
you guys
authority.
odds on not getting stabbed and shot right away, but you never cease to amaze me.
All because of a
A detect
check.
magic spell.
Yeah.
It's just a detect magic. This is real basic shit.
This is why you
Yeah.
know doesn't help people.
That's why.
Okay. Part of the reason.
All right, well,
Sure.
we're looking at the 13th. I know we're possibly losing Bogey,
Yeah, most definitely.
but maybe, just like last week, you'll show up at the end. You
I
never
can
do
hope.
know.
Well,
It's
considering the
a-
entire
it's a-
party's
it's-
gonna be dead, I guess it doesn't matter.
It's a 3-day drill, so I don't think Saturday's gonna be a short day.
Well, you're protecting the homeland, dude. That's cool.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
The homeland, dude. I'm gonna be speaking like a cowboy for the rest of the day for sure.
Great.
All right, folks. Well, yeah, the 13th is the next meet. It was fun playing with you guys today,
Always.
and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Let me
Stay
know
safe with
if
your
any.
thunderstorms and stuff.
Oh, those have sort of subsided a little bit. I think it was just a rolling. It was rolling thunder.
Oh boy.
One of those rolling thunderstorms. But yeah, day 2 in Cobb, and you're already going to get either executed or thrown in jail. Good job.
We're still best.
I mean, there's a third option.
There is. There's a third option. It all
We
depends
can
on the rolls. Yeah, you
or we could run.
you could fight the entire law enforcement agency of Cobb. That sounds like
Wouldn't
a great idea.
Won't be the first time that
Raven
Grandma
is ready to
fled
fight.
from a town.
Yeah. All right. Well, yep. That's it for me. We'll see you guys on the 13th.
We might have to see Sazaros again.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Might need a new name. All right, folks. We'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.